Hello and welcome to episode 231 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
Jeff, how are you doing this fine Monday evening?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing good. That's a pretty cute guy you got right there.
Mudkip.
He's pretty cute. Oh, where's the I don't think our little Flay Coco has even made an appearance on the podcast yet. You're being a bad pokey dad.
I'm sorry. We had it in there to comfort Olivia.
Yeah, he did serve his purpose. Oh,
Yeah.
well. All right. Next time, if I can remember, he will grace us with his presence.
They're a little dingy.
A little dingy indeed. Jeff!
Darby.
The Game Awards happened.
They did.
They sure did. We got a lot to talk about today.
Yep.
A whole lot to talk about.
Yep. And if people are interested to see what we thought in the moment after listening to us, we have those live reactions. For all they know, just still on the Twitch thing.
No, it's on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
It's on both. It's both at twitch.tv/nerdsatlarge and youtube.com/nerdsatlarge. Both places, it's there for you. What did we think about Bill Clinton? You'll have to go there and find out.
We'll talk about it. Not
for super long, probably. But yeah.
No. Well, I think it's good. We could talk about it right here, because some people were wondering, is it an anti-Semitic dog whistle?
I just assumed it probably was. And just like, I assumed there was some context to follow. Yeah.
It seems to be like a 15-year-old YouTuber that is mainly a troll. He apparently was at a Blizzard thing not long ago. We probably might have mentioned him real quick on here, honestly, and also interrupted that with something. He seems to know more politics than a normal 15-year-old, because like Jason Schreier interviewed him and stuff since then.
Oh, well.
And it's kind of like, yeah, it at least right now it doesn't.
So it might have just been purely random.
Yes.
Just random bullshit. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know 100%, but it's looking like I'm leaning towards that.
I will trepidatiously continue to laugh and enjoy the absurdity of it. Yes. It sucks. It absolutely sucks for Jeff. I'm sure Jeff was fuming. You look at Jeff, he looked like he was fucking mad. I would have been mad too. And it sucks that it interrupted the moment. It's pretty damn funny. It's pretty funny. Huge security risk. There's a lot of bad things, but it's pretty funny. It's pretty
well, people like so camera just Ferris, and at the moment, it looked like he was about to he gave him the look like, I'm about to drop kick you.
God, that would be even better. I want to see Joseph Fares drop kick a kid. Let's go.
I love that man.
I love him so much. Oh, I want to have a beer with him. I just want him. Yeah, he's got to be at every Game Awards. He should introduce Game of the Year every year, no matter what.
The good thing is,
even if he wins it again, he's nominated again. Me.
It's kind of like he has that connection to Keeley and Game Awards and stuff now, and made such a name for himself. So I know that when the time comes, after a couple years, I can feel confident. Okay, we're gonna get his game here. Yeah, I'm excited for that because It Takes Two is obviously great.
And that Keeley didn't just shun him out after the Oscars thing. You know, he could have been never again. This guy never comes up now. He's embracing it. I love it. Well, Jeff, enough with that. We are going to get to the Game Awards shortly in this podcast. But first, we got some games to talk about. And one of them is kind of Game Awards related. Our first game talk is Jeff. You played that Forspoken demo.
I did.
That was announced at the Game Awards.
Yeah,
it was announced at the Game Awards. It was about 45 minutes, something like that, hour, whatever the length of the demo, something like that.
It's honestly one of those
it's
based on you. Yeah. It's maybe closer to 20, 30 minutes if you speed run to the task or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can explore and do things.
Okay. Well, anyway, what did you think, Jeffrey?
It's all right. Unfortunately.
It's all right, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm sure people, if you've looked on the internet and stuff, the stuff I'm going to say, not uncommon. I've seen a lot of, this is why I liked it most, to know I'm not buying this game. And stuff like that, which I'm kind of there. It's at least as of right now, it kind of went, I'm interested in this game to, probably not.
Yeah.
And here's the weird thing, Darby. And I'll get into specifics. I don't know, my potential issues with this, or necessarily the game. like this game is just not potentially not that great, or okay at best, or it was just a terrible demo for the game. Because I can see it going either way. Because the way the demo is set up, I don't know exactly. I'm assuming this is an actual like part of the map in the world, but it's just kind of one of those things that drops you there. And sometimes demos are literally just, hey, start of the game, or just playing up a cut of the story.
Right.
This is more of, okay, this is a demo, or I keep on forgetting the girl's name, but so and so it's like demo adventure or something, and they give you 5 tasks in there, and the tasks are pretty basic, like go and activate a tower, go kill enemies here, go to this. It's an open world-ish game, or big open areas, whatever. So you go to things to get more defense points or whatever. So go find one of those. And it looks like there are more throughout besides those, but they give you specific locations for some. So because of the way it's focusing on pretty much side story or side mission kind of stuff. And I don't think this would be a surprise based on the kind of game it is, that it's not the most exciting stuff to do. Right. And I think it could do a potential disservice for this game if it turned out to actually be really good, to not really show off the story and the characters. Because the main character in her bracelet, we know from stuff, talks. They're making, they're having banter back and forth, but because I don't know these characters, it means nothing to me. Yeah. And it really annoyed me, but I saw it annoy other people. It's like, I don't know y'all. Why are you talking this much? Why are you doing this like I know you?
I mean, it's kind of like Guardians was so special partially because of the build-up. You just spend so much time with the characters.
Yeah. And obviously, Guardians is something we at least know an iteration of those characters. We know nothing about these characters besides what trailers have shown us.
Yeah, I mean, like, weirdly enough, I kind of have a lot of history with, like, I know this is not even really the Western Square, but even Western, Eastern Square, or whatever, kind of starting to merge in some ways with a lot of their game design philosophies, like share a lot of things. Yeah, I have quite a bit of experience and see the parallels between like the Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and like Guardians, and even watching you play some of Hitman, even though that's a little bit different or whatever. But like these type of things or whatever, but especially those three, especially the first three, have very similar type of like, I don't know, just like the way that you move around the world, the way exploration works, and even like the way like sometimes, and just the way like main story versus side story is split, where it's like all three of those games, say more so Tomb Raider and Final Fantasy than Guardians, but all three of those games, it kind of feels like there is main stuff and side stuff, and sometimes they can be very separated and very different quality at times. Like the main story looks like it has like all kind of effort put into it, and the side stuff is just kind of.
Yeah, and like with big open world games, I feel like I could speak for both of us here, where our favorite was the lines between side quests and main quests are very blurred.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like, once we get to, I'm done with it talking about goatees and stuff, Xenoblade is when I bring up this, like, some of these side quests, they feel like they should be main things. Right. And even these games, like Red Dead's another example, there'll be some, like, it's been a while, if we talked about stuff, like some of our favorite moments in that game, one of us will probably remind the other one there's actually side quests. We'll be like, oh yeah.
Probably, yeah.
But of course, those games also had the more tedious side questy bullshit. But yeah, at least not the only side quest stuff. But also with this is the combat. And I do think as far as the combat goes, I feel like just dropping into a point after you've been able, after you would gain some abilities might be a disservice to the game. Just because it's throwing a lot out at you, and the demo, I don't think, does the greatest job at explaining it to you. Of, like, just kind of overwhelming you and making it clear, like, what you're doing. Because, like, we've seen from trailers, parkour is a big part of this game, moving around the world. And it does feel cool. It looks flashy and all kind of stuff. But it felt kind of tedious in ways. And maybe sluggish when I was like trying to climb up red mountains and move around things. Then I saw a video of a guy being like, okay, I've seen you guys talk about this and I understand you, but I just found some crazy stuff just by button mashing, and it actually feels really good once you kind of get it, and showing videos of all this crazy bullshit. It's like, I get you, but yeah, that is another thing. The demo could have done a better job at explaining.
Yeah, if you're just tossed right in the middle. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I'm all for demos, even if it's not like super carefully polished and everything. But this might be an example of like going too far, where it's like maybe you should have put a little bit more thought in exactly what you're showing, not just carve out a thing. Here you go.
This one might.
It might end up.
It's hard to
hurting the game.
Yeah, I think it definitely is. Yeah. At least from our initial sales, depending on the quality of the game, the legs probably wouldn't cup anyway. But
yeah,
it is turning some people off from the game big time. A lot of I like it when games and kind of do it for like a start from the beginning kind of thing. But without playing this game from the beginning, don't know if that is the best thing because you don't know.
Not all games are made for that. Not all games would fit.
It's another Square game. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Perfect.
Oh, it's
perfect to start from the beginning for that one.
You know where to stop. You have a clear ending point there. Whatever. But there's games obviously it's a very different thing. But if you just played the beginning of Red Dead Redemption 2, you'd be like, I didn't do anything. It's like but
that game in itself is just hard to demo. A traditional demo.
Yes. My question is, did you one question I've had looking at this game, and partially again with these Square Enix games in general, some of them can be like open-ish, but it's like it has the illusion of kind of being open areas, but it is very much you're kind of traversing down this very linear corridors within this big open area, and you can it's like a maze, you can go through this, but it's still like you were going down the winding path to get to this one, and then the other winding path to get to this one, or whatever, like in Tomb Raider and Guardians and Final Fantasy. Is it more like that, or is it more like, is it actually 360 degrees, you can run in any direction and go wherever you want?
Okay, so at least in the demo, I guess I'm trying to remember. I guess it kind of started me down a linear path, but that was like a tutorial area. It was just kind of like I guess a little chasm or something, like going straight forward to teach me demo stuff. And then once I got to the end of it, then it really got opened up. I guess I did not try to turn around and see what stuff I could potentially been. But, and this might be partly because it was primarily side quests I was doing. It seemed pretty open as far as doing. I don't know how linear it will feel once you're playing and you actually have main story stuff to do. But I was kind of moving all about the place and running up and climbing up mountains and all that kind of stuff to get to the different places.
Yeah,
I was a little confused about how to get there.
Gotcha. Well, the one thing I've always been able to say about this game that always is good is where the particle effect's pretty.
Yeah.
All right, it's got that.
Yeah, and something I will say,
$60 for your particle effects, please.
Something that I think will be cool for the game is I don't know if they made that clear during any of the marketing for it. It could have been in some previews that I just missed. As far as all the spells and abilities that you get, because we've seen in trailers she's doing all this crazy shit, and I think we've talked about there's a lot going on. How's that going to work from a gameplay standpoint as far as doing that? Mm-hmm. Well, the demo answers the question just by looking at the menus and shit. So they've shown off a couple of them about these I don't know what the official term, witches, warlocks, whatever. These, I think they're all women that your main character has to defeat or something. Mm-hmm. And they all seem to focus on a different magic. Mm-hmm. What it seems like once you defeat them, you get their powers. And that opens up a new grid to learn abilities and shit. And you can, I think it was holding down both triggers, and you can swap to a different kind. And we only had two here. One was her basic nature magic, and the other one was a fire mage.
So it's different move sets for the different things.
Pretty much, basically. Yes. And they have normal normal attacks. Their normal attack for the nature magic was kind of it was a third person shooter, which I guess a criticism of the game is the lock on for that is terrible. To be honest.
You don't like a bad lock.
Or at least I might have gotten used to it, but at least the time I played it just did not feel good, and I felt like I was missing things more than I should have been.
Gotcha.
While the other one, the basic attack combo thing was like a fire sword thing she summoned, which is cool. And then you have different abilities within those that you can switch between, and those look to be pretty different between the two styles of magic. Okay. So that'll be a cool thing with the game, where it seems like you're consistently getting new styles of magic that'll be pretty different from each other, and obviously the cool visual effects and all that kind of stuff.
Well, hopefully the reviews come out and it's just like, no, they're really good. But
yeah,
I thought there was definitely a chance. Every time we've seen the trailers of this game, I was like, there's some things that definitely, it's like, that model looked really bad, or like, this looks like it could be very repetitive or something. But I'm interested in it, but it could be, it's been kind of
And also something which I think is cool, because it'll make you feel a need to switch more, is that enemies have certain weaknesses, and you can kind of scan them to find out what like magic they're weak against. So you pretty much switch up your moveset depending on the enemy, which I think is cool. Cool. Gives you more reason to not stick with a particular one.
Yes. Well, we've also been playing another thing new that me, you, and all of our friends have been playing, and that's Dark Pictures Anthology's The Devil in Me.
Funny enough, the first Dark Pictures anthology game we've actually played.
True.
I have watched all of House of Ashes.
Yeah, we're apparently big fans of supermassive games that are not Dark Pictures. Get that out of here.
Get that shit.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Even though there's not a huge difference, just budget seems to be the big difference between the Dark Pictures and non-Dark.
And length, yeah.
Yeah, but still, stylistically,
that's getting a little blurred some, because this one and House of Ashes seem to be longer and closer to Until Dawn and The Quarry, which I think is cool, especially since they're cheaper priced anyway.
Very fair. No, it's cool to have another one of these just right around the corner from the other one. It's just like it's a fun game night thing or whatever, and it's like, it feels like we just did this, and here we are again. It's like,
we do it again next year.
Yeah, we do it again next year. I mean,
do the ones we missed.
So like, that's the good side of they just churn this shit out or whatever. It's like, okay, so you can just put it on the calendar every Halloween. Basically every Halloween you get one or whatever, and we got 2 in this calendar year right here. So it's like, that is very cool. I would definitely say the game is janky.
Yeah.
Very, very janky. Which it is a fun janky. It adds to the experience. The game is janky. It looks bad in a lot of areas. It's probably like not what, like, I've said multiple times as I played this and I played The Quarry, but especially this, I think the developers probably like cringe as they watch this, because they know that they needed another year on this game and just couldn't get it, so they just had to put it out. And it's like, so like, it's conflicting. I'm sure it's not what Supermassive wants to be putting these games out in the state of, and it's never gonna like win awards. It's never gonna be like your favorite game of all time, but I have a very good time playing them.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, people who like Supermassive in these kind of games, they know what to expect, and they want it. They just like this type of game.
Well, it's weird. It's like, I probably would also enjoy just a supremely written, supremely running, like, just amazing version of this in a different way. I would just like really get into, like, almost like in a Life is Strange type of way, and the like story and stuff of it. But I also enjoy getting with my friends and just kind of laughing at the game, laughing with the game. Both, both are happening. The game makes me laugh organically, like on its own, doing like intentionally. And then there's a lot of probably unintentional things that we also laugh at, and I think we all get a kick out of that, and it's fun. It's like, it really is like getting with your friends to watch a B horror movie. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, and with the writing, and you're like, oh, the writing's terrible. It's like
it's kind of self-aware. It's self-aware.
It's self-aware. It knows what it is and just fully embraces
it. It does.
And it just depends on if you're for that.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And for us, especially in a group setting, all for it. And like we were saying with the jank being fun jank, it adds to the B-movie horrorness. I am fixed.
Continue.
Like, one funny thing we got, there's a dude with a camera, and at some point, and I will say that before going into this point, something I do like about this game, even if it's like maybe not implemented the best, is they actually added unique mechanics to all 5 of the playable characters.
Yeah,
at least there is something a little different as far as actually playing them.
I agree.
I hope that's not just this thing, and that's something they experiment with more in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one that's a cameraman and has a camera, and you can take pictures at any time. And oh boy, there are friend Preston like taking pictures. At some point, he put the camera up, backed up slightly, triggered a cutscene, and then for the whole cutscene, the camera was in front of the guy's face. It obviously was not supposed to be there, but it made it so funny because it's like he was just hiding behind his camera the whole fucking time. And then you notice at some point that the camera's still strapped to his side.
He spawned another camera.
Yep.
That's his gimmick. He's the duplicator man.
Mm-hmm.
That was very funny. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time. I'm sure when we play the next one, and then we play the next one after that, eventually these things are all going to run together, and I'm not going to be able to recall a lot of the very specifics of the stories of any of these because they're not the most memorable thing in the world. But they're fun.
Yeah.
And I absolutely never would play this alone. I would not really get much enjoyment alone. But if you have a friend group, and you might, someone else might, but at least for me with a friend group, they're worth the price of admission.
Yeah. Especially splitting it, it's like, yeah. You're pretty much paying the price of like a movie ticket at less than the price of a movie ticket.
Yeah, like a group, yeah.
To do multiple nights of fun.
Yeah. So I'm okay with them churning these out. I mean, again,
that's good because we're getting like 4 more at least.
That's wild. I mean,
they already announced the other next season.
You can tell there is a concession for that. Mm-hmm. They do not look good, but or particularly good. But
hey, they're the only ones doing it like this.
Yep.
That's cool. Well, I guess I'm surprised, but at the same time, because they're turning it out quickly, there could be like another developer making one, but just actually doing a normal development time and not like being forced to put these out consistently.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, and I wish devs could, I mean, it's not like a crazy amount doing this, but we have those franchises like Call of Duty and Pokemon and stuff. They're like, they have to be out at this time. We just need to get the mindset of games need to have a flexible schedule.
Yeah.
And to the credit to a lot of developers, most big developers are being a lot more open.
Yeah.
There's just some of these couple franchises where it's not the case.
Yeah. Thing with Dark Pigeon, I think that they should maybe consider just like almost trying a Telltale type art style or something like that. Cause I just feel like it would be a lot more doable for them, especially if they're going to be churning these out. Because I think part of it, they're churning them out so fast, but they're also like kind of attempting to do a AAA realistic art style, like with just the models and everything. Yeah. Like there's like times you stop and look, it's like, okay, this looks like a modern video game, and then they start moving or animating their face, and it's like, oh god, Jesus, so like I don't know, like it might be easier if they're going to turn them out of the schedule to just play around with the art style some, do some more stylized look or something, I don't know.
I think they like having it like just look like the actor.
No, I know they like it, but I'm saying maybe concede on that if you're going to be churning them out like this because they're not hitting it. They obviously are trying, but they're not hitting it. So I'm like, it might be time to, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm still enjoying it in all of its janky glory. So.
Mm-hmm. But Darby, how are you enjoying so far with the little time we put into it? Fortnite Chapter 4.
Well, Jeff, we go from jankiness to maybe one of the most pristinely made games we play. It's like, when it comes to mechanics and how things are fine-tuned and how just like they try every thought that comes in their head and somehow they all hit. I mean, like, no, this game really is phenomenal. I mean, just the way that they introduce mechanics, like so many different physics mechanics. Like now they have this giant hammer that you can sling yourself around with.
So good.
I mean, how many times have we said that in Fortnite? Just in the last calendar year with the like Spider-Man gloves and the Kamehameha and the Nimbus cloud and this and the little like when you turn into like goo and bounce around.
Rocket League cars. The new dirt bikes they added.
It's absurd. Yeah. It's like all of these different things could be a mechanic in a whole different game, and they just like. Here's the best Spider-Man mechanic you've probably ever seen in a game, including Marvel games. It's like, here it is. It's ridiculous. Like, it's absurd. I know it's because they have oodles and oodles and oodles of money, but they use it wisely.
Yeah,
they really do.
Well, and since this is about Chapter 4, this is going to be an all-encompassing conversation about, hey, what's in the battle pass and skin and stuff, because I don't think we've talked, we have a chance to talk about it. Geralt skin's coming. Doom Guy's in the battle pass. My Hero is coming, I think, this week. And it, based on the trailer, it looks like might have an item / mechanic with a super punch.
Hell yeah. No, it's just a perfect encapsulation of just they have something for everyone. Pretty much that's what they want to be, is that you can bring any friend group, you can get with your coworkers, you can get with anyone or whatever, and no matter what they're into, there's probably going to be some crossover in there that they would be
Mr. Beast got added today.
Like, what? Dude, like,
oh, yeah. This was funny and very on brand. They added the Mr. Beast skin today, and they're having some kind of map thing that the person who does the best on it wins $1 million, which is on brand for Mr. Beast.
Yeah, I've heard about those.
So yeah, like you were saying, in the same week, it looked like they're adding a Mr. Beast skin and a My Hero skin.
Yep. Because obviously I don't care about My Hero, but then there's Geralt right there. I'm like, hell yeah. It's like almost every time there's like something there that's like your different parts of your friend group. Because like our friend groups have perfect. Obviously you love everything, so you love everything. But then like we have like half our friend group would be like, My Hero, oh my god, and me, I couldn't care less. But Geralt, it's like, and they don't care about Geralt. It's like, that's just the thing about Fortnite. It's like they're gonna get you somewhere.
I can Gangnam Style with Geralt.
Exactly.
So silly.
It's just like I have since we started playing this, it's just the easiest thing to have your whole friend group. Everyone can get because it's simultaneously the easiest of all these Overwatch, Valorant, League, and it's the easiest one to get into with kind of the lowest learning curve to just be able to play good enough to have fun and everything. But it also gets pretty complex and gets pretty, it's also not boring and dull for us.
Yeah.
It changes. And they, just the mechanics and the map and everything, just in the pretty small amount of time we've been playing, I feel like it's just changing constantly. It's just every
The map is 100% different than when it was last year when we played.
Wild, yeah.
Yeah. Just madness and all the stuff they added, like we were saying. It just all feels good.
Yeah. No game, I don't think any game I've ever seen has been able to just this consistently add things and keep up just where it doesn't feel like an event when you're in there, and it's about to change. It's going to change in a few weeks, so you feel like you need to go or whatever, but it just never feels like a chore. It just feels like I'm always delighted to go in there, check in on it every few weeks to just see what crazy shit's going to be.
Yeah, it is now. It's interesting, just thinking back and how me and you have developed as far as when talking about ongoing game, because talking about the Game Awards this week and the last week and everything, best ongoing game. Past year was probably Fortnite without us doing it. So we just hear stuff, and now playing it's Fortnite,
please, Fortnite.
And it don't want to discredit other games, but Fortnite just does it so well.
It really does. Yeah, unironically, just one of my absolute favorite games right now. It's very, very, very good. Very, very good. It's one of those that's incredibly popular and earns it.
Yeah. And there's one last thing, and it's kind of backtracking, but still, just with all the mechanics on this, we talked about some of it before we played in our last session, but then there's stuff like the hammer. Maybe Alex sounded like he might have known about, or Preston or someone, but the other ones didn't, and we're like, wait, what's with this hammer? Oh shit, you can swing around with it. And with the bikes, I knew those, but I don't think.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I think you and Alex didn't know, and I rode around. I was like, wait, what? It's bikes.
Yeah, sorry, but yeah,
it's just always they're just always adding stuff to that, so it's always fun to go in and be surprised with stuff they might have had.
Yeah,
especially with guns, the way they take them in and out.
Which is crazy when you think about. It's December 2020. Can you imagine how many different mechanics and different things are going to be added between now and next December? It's just we got a good idea
because it was December last year, I think, when we started playing. So just think the difference between when we started and now.
Yeah, absolutely. Crazy.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's safe to say Fortnite had the long run.
Yeah, and because it's not like I play it religiously, but I play it the perfect amount. It's we jump in with friends and it's good, So, yeah. Pokemon, a game I have been playing more religiously.
you have been playing the Pokemon, so let me remember right. You're got through 7 gyms.
Yes.
Most of, like, all but maybe one of the Titans.
Yes, I think 4 Titans and 3 Team Stars, I believe.
So you only got like 4 more before Pokemon League in that end game.
Oh baby. Oh baby. Yeah, no, I'm still just as enraptured as I was before, which is a high compliment because I am approaching the 50-hour mark or something like that. I mean, some of it has been leaving it idle, but no, most of it is real. Most of it is like actually that amount of time because I'm going a lot slower than everyone else, but I'm fine. I'm having a very, very good time. Like exploring the map is still very fun to me, and there's a whole nother section up there. Like I've only just got to the ice section, and I know there's at least one other section past to the west right. or whatever, east, whatever of that. So at least one other there, and then the crater. I don't know what all that, what all that's about and everything yet. So no, this game is actually legitimately has me, and you know how hard that is to get me right now. Like, it doesn't happen super often. It's usually the same few games recently. So no, the highest praise I can give it, I do. It's super fun.
And when I'm about to say, I'm not doing it to attack you at all, but as far as like a game getting into, there've been some games that get in that it feels like recently you gotten into. Yeah. But it doesn't live for like crazy long. Like I'll use Dragon Quest as an example. Yeah. Is one you definitely got into, and you're probably gonna go back to it. I imagine at some point.
Probably at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's an obvious difference.
Yeah. But this like you're almost done with it, and especially now it's like you're going to finish it. Yeah. And you put in I can't think of it's been a long time that I could think of a game for you, maybe besides you religiously playing like a multiplayer game that you put 50 hours this quick.
No, that was probably.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a while. Like we're getting into like Final Fantasy VII Remake type territory. I mean, that was faster, but still. No, you're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. It's like, and it's wild. It's even like some of the gyms have been punching back a little bit, just depending on because I have been lasering down a little bit more on the team. So there's been like I'm going up to Fairy right now, and I was looking at my team. It's like I don't have great things for this. We'll see how it goes.
So I want to ask you this: does going for the game get you more or less excited for us continuing the Nuzlocke?
It gets me like a different type of excited.
Yeah,
it's less of the just completely clueless, like, oh, what's gonna, that was a lot of enjoyment. Now I feel like now I'll be a little more of like, I'll have slightly more of an idea when I look at our team and I know what we're coming up against to be like, this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, isn't it? Part of that was the question was like, you're seeing that pushback for the gyms, and that's you making a very specific team not moving as much.
I will say, like, it still is not very much pushback, which is a testament to I'm still just enjoying the game, even despite it is most of the time it is just steamroll through things. But
but with all the ways we're limiting ourselves and with our limited Pokemon.
I did have one. I forgot what it was, but one of the gyms I just did, it took me down to. It was either my last Pokemon or my second last Pokemon. It was one of those like. I was never really in doubt that I was going to win it, but I was having to throw bodies into the meat grinder to get to the win. Yeah. And I'm like, well, if you do that in the Nuzlocke, then you just wiped out like a large percentage of your team. So like I have definitely won in ways that you can't win during Nuzlocke.
Yeah, that happens some in mine. Like I'm not sure what all stuff you're doing. Like, are you using items during battle?
No items, and I'm trying to match. I have gone a few levels over some things because I look up the level sometimes. Sometimes I'm lazy, and sometimes there was like 2 different gyms I accidentally got like 2 levels over, and I'm like, whatever, and I just went in there. So, but
yeah. I did a little crazy shit for my personal playthrough where I did no items, obviously, set, yada, 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 level match, and also Pokemon number match. So like when they use 4 Pokemon, So instead of using all 6 slots, I used 4 like they are.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think it was when we were talking to Will about it. I mentioned that, and he was like, "What?"
Again, Jeff, I told you were in the 0.0001% of Pokemon fans. So you're a mad lad.
That gets me like more excited for them. I was like, oh, this could be interesting because especially I've watched some of Nuzlocke's. And some of them, definitely depending on team, some people have steamrolled over a particular gym, and some have been
that's gonna
hard.
Happen.
But what's going to be interesting for me is the Team Star and Titans, because I have not seen those be Nuzlocke,
Right.
and especially the Team Star ones with those
The cars.
The cars, like some of these are probably gonna be rough. depending
I
on what we
watched
get.
Will lose to one of those cars like 5 times. It was one of the
Yeah.
ones I haven't done. It probably just partially depends on what team you have, but
Yeah.
and our team is just probably even more random than most Nuzlocke than like even previous Nuzlockes we've done, because it is literally random. You know?
Yeah.
It's the territory we're doing the
Terra
only
lot.
territory. But you actually have beat the game.
I
right?
have. I got those credits. I did the final things. Beat the gym leader. It's in Elite Four and all that shit.
Hell yeah! Well, you were like excited because people were saying it was kind of wild. Well, did it live up?
Yeah, it was pretty wild. They did some shit. Shit that I'm hoping they carry on. Like, no, and I won't go into them now. We can have like a spoiler talk, like once you get through with it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to do. There's some particular things that I'm also excited to talk to you about, like mechanically, that I'm curious about them carrying into the future.
Okay.
So that will be an interesting thing to talk
Okay.
about, the
Interesting.
potential of that and just the way it was done and all that. But as far as like the story and stuff, and like after finishing with the writing, I guess technically this from an actual like what the story is still kind of a basic Pokemon thing. There are a couple, like let's say like one or two more layers to it, generally speaking, compared to other Pokemon stories apart. So nothing like too deep for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say what I feel like has improved compared to like especially like some of the last Pokemon games is the actual character writing.
Yeah.
I feel like the writing for the characters, even if we're not getting a lot of like dialogue from each one, is stronger, where you can feel kind of more of the personality from the characters, and it might partly because of the like designs and some of the animations they give some of the trainers feels like they might have put more thought into those as well. But
Yeah.
and I feel like more character from these characters
I
than some
agree.
of the last, like it's like when we play Sword and Shield.
Certainly, yeah. Sword and Shield is obviously the one I'd know the most to compare it to, and I would definitely agree. I mean, it's like for sure, it's like 95% Nimona and the trainers. You know, it's like the Team Star people, but they look funny. They have aggressive body energy. I kind of don't care about them when they go into their sob stories. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. It's like I honestly don't care about anyone else, but the trainers and Nimona are both like memorable and cool, and I like them and charming and everything. But yeah, the trainers have been very cute and everything. But yeah, I don't really care about the overall story honestly all that much. I'm like kind of half paying attention. Hopefully the ending will make sense to me, because I'm not like fully locked in. I know that there's the hot professor man is doing something in the crater. That's about all I know. I'm waiting to get there, and he's gonna be Sephiroth in the Great Crater. He's gonna take his shirt off and sprout wings, and we're gonna fight and then kiss. And that'll be cool. Yeah, that'll be really fun.
Oh, actually, hopefully not kids, because you're an actual 10-year-old.
Yeah, he's gonna point at the camera and say, "You player, come," and then I'm gonna come through the TV screen, and then we're gonna kiss. Yeah. So it was good.
Yeah.
Best Pokemon? Favorite Pokemon? I know it's a loaded question because you were like 6 when you played your first one, so you know I'm asking you to forsake your childhood memories.
So here's the good news is for you, Darby. I'm gonna have to answer this question come Goatee time.
Ooh.
But I don't know if it's either my first or second favorite Pokemon in a long while, and it's only because Arceus exists.
So wait, you said you're gonna answer. So is Arceus your favorite right now? You think?
It's hard. So favorite Pokemon's hard because there's so much nostalgia for earlier ones.
That's what I mean.
I
It's
can
loaded,
say
isn't it?
probably since like at least Gen 5, if not the Gen 2 remakes and Gen 4. These are my favorite Pokemon games.
Nice.
But I'm going to have to kind of lay out my feelings, and I'm going to have to again because of our Goatee things when I rank them.
I am interested to hear that. So, but there is like you're not 100% sure between these two, between Arceus and so I mean, I know
there are
different.
similarities of how they move forward the franchise that I love that are kind of similar, but they both do things pretty differently. That's like I love aspects of both of them for like different reasons and all that. So like as far I can say though definitively as far as like because Legend, it's a weird. This could be worded weird because Legend Arceus is a mainline game, but it's not like a normally like for the normal-ish structured Pokemon game with 8 gyms, yada yada yada. This is my favorite in a long while, if not maybe my favorite. Who knows? It's hard to compare for some of the classic.
No, I know, sure. I know,
but I absolutely love it.
I just wanted to watch you squirm a little bit, and I did. I'm satisfied. So,
I myself am very curious to like how I'm going to rank both Scarlet and Arceus come GOTY time, even compared to like the other games on my list. Because I think I ranked Shield like 7th or something, 8th or 7th when it came out in like 2019. I feel like these two are going to rank higher. And I feel like this is a stronger year in general, so that says something compared to my feelings toward these games compared to Shield.
Oh yeah, I would definitely agree. Pretty hype.
Yep,
pretty hype stuff.
Speaking of hype, let's get into that news, Darby.
News jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jangle. The Game Awards.
The Game Awards. The Keeleys. They're here. What did we win, Jeff? What did Nerds at Large win at the Keeleys?
Best podcast that takes place in a small house in South Carolina.
It was tight. It was really tight. It was a really, really tight race, but we barely beat out Kind of Funny.
Yeah,
you know, they're right next door.
Yeah.
By the way, we've never said that. They're like, yeah, they're right.
They say they're in California, but
you've seen the taxes there. They're not gonna.
Sorry for doxing you, Greg Miller.
Oh, Jeff. How are we doing this? Do we want to give any broad Game Awards thoughts before we
can give broad? I have a separate thing for awards, which don't plan to take nearly as long as we're doing these. Yeah. Sure. We talk about our overall thoughts. What do you think overall, Darby?
I thought it was the best Game Awards in a while. I thought it was definitely better than the last, like, I don't know, don't quote me on this, but I feel like it's been about
at least
2 or 3, something like that, years of, I'm not saying they're like awful, but they have been, I've gotten to the end and be like, that was too long. I somewhat regret, I don't like completely regret watching it, but it definitely never didn't feel worth the amount of time that I had to put into it and stuff the last 2 years. And I more enjoyed hanging out with y'all of it when it was like, what announcements? I'm like, I guess it's just like, I wasn't very excited.
Yeah.
After.
So it's like 2 years ago. I think for you, it's just the Sephiroth and Smash announcement is probably a good example of years. Like, it's that one thing early on, and then
and just kind of peter out or whatever. But yeah, especially I think I got to the end of this and be like, yeah, that was really solid, really good. I had a really good time. And then when I compare it to like, yeah, you compare it, would you actually get nitty gritty and actually look at the last 2 years or whatever, and you have like Fast and Furious Crossroads Vin Diesel bullshit or whatever, and then you compare that to like Armored Core 6 and shit like that, it's like, oh shit, it's like, yeah, there's a lot more hype stuff in here. So I thought it was good.
I feel like when looking at this list and comparing it, or I guess I haven't looked at the exact list, but yeah, thinking about and comparing it to past couple Game Awards, and we've talked about it. It definitely felt like the last couple Game Awards or any Keeley showcase was kind of, he could get what he could get. This one feels a lot more overall like these are ones that he chose and wanted to show here. Not saying he like disliked all the other, a lot of the games on there. I'm sure, like, I think Keeley has a broad taste overall as far as the games he actually likes,
for sure,
which is good as far as this stuff goes. But yeah, this one definitely feels more like, oh, I could choose. Okay, it's that.
Like, if he had some of these announcements, he would have potentially replaced some of the previous Game Awards announcements in favor for the. It was just the hit rate was higher.
It definitely feels like more companies came to play ball.
Yeah, which
it's that Microsoft.
Yeah, which I mean, part of that is just gonna change with the winds of like who is ready to show and whatever. But there was also an element of like, I think some people were. Like Sony definitely, I feel like the last few years has gone way more in a we're gonna do our own thing, and they're like kind of slowly starting to. It feels like okay, we'll give you a few things, like we'll put a few things back.
Even here, like Sony, we'll get into them. Sony didn't have like a crazy amount. It was like mainly ports.
No, yeah.
Which is not a bad thing.
I mean,
they have good announcements.
I somewhat associate like Death Stranding also. I mean, I imagine they're
no,
big on
you're right.
But
that's one of those things where it is pretty much associated with Sony, but that's less of Sony giving the okay and Kojima.
For sure. It doesn't fully count.
No, but you're right. Yeah, that is the, and there's also the Horizon DLC. Let's just go through this list, Darby.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go ahead and give credit because this is who the order is dictated by, and where I got some.
You're plagiarizing the order of games that we talk about.
Shout out to Adam Bankers from IGN for compiling this list. With all the extra little information and all the announcements in one nice little place.
Jeff, sorry, real quick, breaking news. A live-action My Hero Academia movie is coming to Netflix from Legendary Pictures. The script is written by the Kenobi person.
Okay. Can't wait for a white man to be named Bakugo.
Oh, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Anyway, continue.
First thing, which was the last announcement, Final Fantasy 16. We got a new trailer for and a release date. It's coming June 22nd. Oh boy.
Big old summons. They big, they angry.
My hype is building for this game.
There was a lot of blood on a child.
There was Chocobo blood.
There was Chocobo blood. The sacrilege. Yep. We're never supposed to see that.
Yep. Yeah, I'm hyped for this game, Darby. It's officially hit me. I was kind of building up, but and the weird thing is, it was kind of partly his trailer, but at the same time, this trailer didn't show like a crazy amount. The other ones didn't.
No,
really, it was the same kind of tone.
I don't feel like this was. Well, I'm interested because this is the one that broke you. I would not have said just from. I only saw it once and I wasn't paying super close attention. I would not have said that this was my favorite 16 trailer. I would have probably said one of the previous ones was my favorite.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say maybe this is my. I think it's a mixture of like, because of the way 15. I mean, not that 15 is a bad game or anything, and just other stuff with Square Enix. I think it's one of those things like, I probably someone talks about One Piece Odyssey, where it's trying to temper my expectations with this as far as like going up to the high standard of Final Fantasy, because it's looking too good and I don't want to get disappointed.
And it is very different.
Yes.
It's a new direction.
But with, we played a little bit of 14 and everything. Well, technically a lot of 14, but little in the grand scheme of things.
Technically over 100 hours for me.
And just the tone of it, I really like what it's going for. But I think it's a mixture of seeing more of these trailers and showing kind of different parts of it to see how the tone is kind of throughout, as far as like characters and the different places and everything, and the general vibes of the world and the story, and just hearing some stuff from developer interviews, which it feels like we got more of that in the trailers. It's like this got brought to my attention that like Final Fantasy 12, they were very inspired by Star Wars.
Oh, obviously.
They said straight up that pretty much like, oh yeah, a lot of people in our office are big fan of Game of Thrones.
Nice.
And it's like, I see that and I feel that and I appreciate that. I think a part of this is, it gets me excited, is just the general tone of it seems like more mature. And like, I love Final Fantasy 7.
Chocobo blood.
Yeah. But that's still in a way goofy. And I love that. I love that shit. But it's kind of nice with this. We still getting the normal Final Fantasy stuff, but kind of maybe more of the mature kind of tone, and not like mature, edgy kind of stuff. Like, no, this seems like a good.
Right. There is a difference between, because sometimes a lot of JRPGs can, be like, we're super mature, but it's like mature in an immature way, if that makes any sense. It's like, that kind of like, it's the maturity that like, it's like a 16-year-old would think.
Mature, balanced tone, it seems, with this, what we've seen so far. And just kind of learning more about the story, that there are going to be multiple time skips during this thing, so we're seeing the course of I think Clive's the main character's name, his life and everything, and getting more idea of like party, like I think this was the first confirmation of like who some of the party members are and all that kind of stuff. So there's basically not really party members in the traditional sense, right? You're just playing like this party one members. I think like 15 worked, where you're controlling Clive, like you control Noctis, the other ones are AI. But this, and we got some of them like, and one of them's a dog in this one that you see as a pup and then see it grow up. I swear, if you
I was about to say, if we're inspired by Game of Thrones likes to kill everyone you love if that dog dies.
And my anime self loves the kind of bullshit like, oh, people can transform into the summons. That's fun. And it gets me excited for the gameplay hooks of what we've seen of Clive. Seems like being able to, I don't know how exactly it's going to work, like collect the summons and gain the powers from themselves, like in normal, like when he's a human-sized combat, because you see him like summon like Titan's arms to do something, and they probably transform into their big forms and doing crazy stuff. Right. And just like the scale looks like a cutscenes in the battles of this.
Oh yeah,
like
scale in this more than like any other Final Fantasy. It's like crazy.
I feel like there's a chance that this is gonna be maybe besides like maybe Ratchet and Clank in some ways. The first game, at least in a while, I'm like, oh, this is a next-gen game.
Certainly looks that way. They are certainly going for it in a way that I like. Even Square Enix has, in some ways, been pushing graphics a lot recently, but like this definitely seems like another level.
Yeah, and people kind of did comparison shop between the first trailer and this one. They've upgraded it big time, like the graphics and everything.
Nice.
It big improvement.
Nice. Well, it's cool. 14 has always had like big ideas and everything, and obviously looks very pretty. It really does, but it is still an MMO that's running on PS3 hardware. I mean, it looks pretty, but there's the limit. So it's kind of cool seeing that team with the like between 14 and this. They obviously love creating huge worlds with like very fully realized, with very just big summons, big monsters, big everything going on. So it's kind of cool seeing them and their creativity with just kind of unlimited resources right now. Just kind of go for the moon when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I think this is probably going to be, by the end of it, just with the how story centric it seems and everything, with the kind of more mature thing and how they talk about it, they want it to be kind of a globe-trotting thing. This is probably going to be one of the most well-realized Final Fantasy worlds we've had, as far as just like understanding factions and shit like that.
Something that also got me excited, as far as like it not being full of like clutter, is it's not an open world game. It's going to be like an open zone-ish kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that also got me excited.
Yeah, which they said they partially want to do because they want it to be like a globe-trotting thing. They don't want it to be something like, if you had an open world like the size of Elden Ring or Zelda or something, obviously, globe-wise, you're not going to be going that far if you can walk to the end of the map or whatever. So, I mean, that makes sense. I think it's the same way I want 7 Remake, Rebirth to be and things like that. Yeah. Just me personally, it sucks. 'Cause, like, all this stuff does, I agree with everything you're saying, and all of it does look cool. And, like, I might give your copy a shot or whatever. It's not like I just want nothing to not touch this game whatsoever. I just can't see myself not getting supremely bored of the combat. It's just with the type of game it is. It's just with it being kind of the more hack and slash, less RPG. Less. I don't know. Like less of the. I just wish it was more like. If it's gonna be this hybrid, I wish it was closer to like 7 Remake or something type of thing than what it's looking like.
We know generally the style of combat, but we don't know like the nitty-gritty of it yet.
No, yeah.
As far as how individual mechanics work. Oh no. But don't worry, folks. We're not going to spend nearly as much time on anything else than we did that.
True. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's move on.
Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon announced from FromSoft, coming 2023 next year. Darby, another FromSoft game, another GOTY nominee.
I believe them. They just do this. This is just what they do.
Yep. Also, some important stuff to note, because we've had some interviews with like Miyazaki and other FromSoft people. They are not Soulsborning this.
Right.
This is not just going to be a Soulsborne game with Armored Core skin.
Right.
They are going to take some stuff they learned from games since then to kind of apply it to this. But it's still going to be mission based. It's still going to be like the 3D kind of action thing that Armored Core is, which I think is the right thing to do. Because if anything, it's just be nice to get something from FromSoft not exactly like a Soulsborne.
Yeah, I agree. As good as those are, I agree. But like. It probably is the business smarter thing to do. Probably would have been to make it a lot more Souls-like or whatever, and to chop that 6 right on off of there and be Armored Core or whatever the hell else. That probably would have been. That's what I expected. That probably would have been the smarter thing. But the more artistic, respectable thing to do is what they're doing. It's like, no, motherfucker, this is 6. It's like this is gonna be Armored Core.
And I will admit, this was also my reaction because I've not played an Armored Core game. Be like. This is the 6th one?
There are a lot of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's an old series.
Oh, yeah.
A very old series. So, I mean, I'm interested. I honestly don't know a ton about Armored Core, and I just know it's been around a long time, and a lot of people like it or whatever. I'm just very interested to see what the modern version of this IP they haven't been on in forever. It was a completely different FromSoft that made this.
Yeah.
And now, so I'm, now that FromSoft are in complete legend status of, yes, King, whatever you say, it's like whatever
trust you.
Yeah, whatever. So I'm interested to see, but as you said, it's worth pointing out that they make amazing games, but they have made the same type of game every time. They do it.
Sekiro was the biggest departure, but it still had the DNA in it.
And people will jump down your throat and be like, no, it's like, yes, they're different, but compare Bloodborne to Sekiro versus God of War to Portal. I mean, they're similar. It's the same genre of game. Obviously they're different games, but it's the same genre of game. This is a different genre of game than that. It's so there's a lot bigger difference between Sekiro and Bloodborne than Sekiro and Armored Core. So it's I'm very interested to see how that goes for them. Yeah,
and if it's coming out next year, may not be too long.
With FromSoft, it usually isn't. It's nowhere near as long as you think. Their fan base will make it seem like it's been 11 years when it's only been 2. Yeah. But yeah, no, they're very fast.
Continuing with a lot of crazy game announcements. Hades 2 announced. Early access coming next year.
Huge.
This is one of those things announcements where part of me is surprised and then not surprised.
Yeah.
Just because this studio is known for changing up the game greatly.
I don't think they've ever done a sequel.
Yeah, they have never done a direct sequel. Yeah. But Hades did so well for them, I don't blame them.
They've never done a sequel, but they've also never had a Hades. So, that's why I thought this was definitely a possibility. I was kind of 50-50 on if this would be different.
That's one of those people could say, either or, and I'm just be like, yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be amazing. I wish they didn't do it. Hades, I love Hades to death. The roguelike thing just wore on me, and it's a me problem. It's not a them problem. There's nothing wrong with Hades. You can play it on my Switch if you want. You're welcome to do that whenever I'm not playing my Switch. Let me know. But
which is the one time when you are. Most of the time of the year, I can do that easily.
I know. Yeah, right now it's a little hard.
Not that I'm trying to play Hades anytime soon.
It's amazing. I mean, it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I just
like all their games.
I'm allergic to roguelike. I mean, it's just I would probably get Hades 2. It would probably be like, holy shit, this is like a game of the year contender. Oh my god, or whatever. But then when I have to fight that mid boss for the 67th time, then I'd be like, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter how good you are. I mean, the fact that I put Hades down means that really I can't do roguelikes because it was amazing. It was absolutely no flaws about it, amazing, but I still couldn't do it. So I was like, oh, I just wish that because they're so creative and I love their games, and I wish they just went to another wacky, crazy idea. But
that's fair, yeah.
But I'm also, people should be excited for this.
Yeah.
I do hope this is the end, though. I hope that after this they go into something else. I hope this is,
Ken Levine's Judas was announced.
So this is the BioShock guy in his new studio or whatever, and it looks BioShocky, but a little more edgy or something. I don't know. I didn't love the tone of it, to be honest with you.
That's fine.
It at least didn't strike me as much as any BioShock has struck me. As far as it looks like it's very much kind of trying to be it's not this bad. It's not this bad of one. But it a little bit reminds me of, I don't even know if you're going to remember this game, but do you remember Lawbreakers?
The name sounds familiar, but the name's generic enough to where
it was Cliff Bleszinski's Overwatch clone.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like Overwatch, but it's like middle school edgy on top. It was like Overwatch, but they say fuck. I mean, I get a little bit of that. I get a little bit of it's BioShock, but they turn their hat backwards and smoke a joint. It's like
I need to watch it because I remember getting that feeling. But This is one of those weird times with the Game Awards where normally because of the betting special, I usually go through it at least twice.
Yeah.
This is the year at least which I have not rewatched most stuff.
I only saw it once. I might be like reading it wrong, but I got a little bit of that like kind of corny type of edginess like with it or whatever. Like I'm not saying a ton, but it was just a little bit enough to where I was like, at least it didn't just jump out. And like when I first saw a BioShock Infinite trailer, I was like, "Holy shit, what's this game?" I didn't get that, but
I'm gonna keep an eye on it because I'm just interested to see like where it goes. Definitely not one where like I need this.
But I love the man's other games. So
yeah. Death Stranding 2 announced.
DS2, excuse you.
I'm sorry. Hey, Sony has put at the trailer Death Stranding 2. Working title.
Nah, DS2.
That's one of those things where everyone pointed out, wait, DS2. There's got to be a reason for that because Jeff Keighley also specifically said DS2.
I was really hoping that Kojima would just emphatically say like, no, this is not Death Stranding 2.
Yeah.
DS2.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to say about it, but
not surprising. This is happening, obviously, because it's technically leaked.
Yeah,
Norman Reedus like, oh yeah, I'm working on this game.
It's still just wild again, though. It was wild how fast the first Death Stranding came out, and it's a little bit wild that we're already seeing the sequel, where it's like you could have believed that Death Stranding, the first one, would only have come out like last year or this year, and it's like so. It's
Death Stranding 2019, right?
Yeah. That's what I mean.
It's like we don't have a date on this yet, so who knows like when
Oh no, it's still probably gonna be 2-some years away, right. But it's like just the whole timeline of all of this is still just faster than I would have thought.
Well, now I got the fire kind of lit under me. I was like, okay, at some point you're gonna have to try out Death Stranding because I have the whatever director's cut copy of that, so I do want to try it.
Go carry some packages.
I will. Because it's such a weird thing because I've never actually played a Kojima game. I watch people play Metal Gear. It's like I know the kind of crazy shit that happens, and that all seems like my shit, obviously. But I've never tried it, so I need to experience it. And surprisingly, I have not been spoiled really much of anything Death Stranding.
How could you be? You probably wouldn't understand it if you did see the spoilers.
I know. So
it's probably an unspoilable game in some ways.
Yeah, there's probably a giant spoiler in that thing, but I'm just not going to understand it.
You'll probably play it, might not understand it.
True. That's going to be an exciting thing. Play it and then watch the trailer and still be like, I don't know what the fuck's going on still. Actually, I know less than when I first saw it. Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. We got a trailer for that. Keanu Reeves is back. As well as Idris Elba has a character.
Knuckles
Knuckles is in this shit. And I'm down.
Oh yeah,
coming out next year, I think it said. So let's go.
This looks very cool. I am still a Cyberpunk 2077 fan. I'm probably like a little bit more of a defender than some people, even though I still think it should have been better in a lot of ways. But I especially think a follow-up DLC has the chance of being a lot better out the gate and immediately being like, oh no, this is.
I feel like people turn around on Cyberpunk since it's been updated a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot.
So.
But I could see like with some learnings from the original one, I could see this being one of those things where it's like, yeah, the original Cyberpunk is good, but Phantom Liberty is like that's where it like really it's like I could see. So.
Let's go.
Fingers crossed.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor coming March 17th.
Could not care less. Could not care less about that.
Darby, he has Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
But the whole reason Kylo Ren had the lightsaber is because he like built it himself all janky like or whatever. Because I think that he was like on an island or something like where he was with the Knights around or whatever. Like it was not supposed to be like it was a bug, not a feature. So this is just kind of dumb. This is just like, oh look, remember Kylo Ren?
No, you're gonna retcon it where Kylo was inspired by Cal or whatever.
Okay, they probably are. I'm exhausted. Star Wars exhausts me. That original game, I didn't really like it at the time. It's just gotten worse and worse the more I think about it. Like the combat was repetitive and annoying. The story was just kind of a big nothing burger. Not much good to say about it. So I'm pretty out.
I've only watched one Star Wars movie. We need to continue that, regardless of this.
I do want to watch Andor because Rogue One's my favorite movie and everyone's losing their shit about it. But I am learning my lesson. I'm going to go in with very tempered expectations because people also lost their shit about Mandalorian, and that's also just kind of a nothing show. Like, I have learned that when people lose their shit about Star Wars, and people also lost their shit about Kenobi, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's nothing special. It is far from anything.
I don't know to say that someone like that's outside the Star Wars fan base and obviously outside looking in. You're right about what people say about Mandalorian and Kenobi, of course. There are a lot of people that said that. But I feel like there are more people that were in line with you. Like, there was at least more people like, it's all right. I feel like Andor is more across the board.
I think so, too.
And it's part of the people that are saying it.
I think so. I'm going to go in this might not, I'm not going to, this doesn't, I'm just going to.
That's the right approach.
It's like, yeah. But I didn't, like, I'm at the point where it's like, most Star Wars shit, I just don't even watch at this point. I am going to watch Andor. I'll be honest, it's mostly because of Rogue One, not because of what people are saying. It's mostly because I love Rogue One. But, yeah. Anyway, Gary Whitta, write another Star Wars movie, then I'll watch it.
Diablo 4 coming June 6th. June, man.
What?
June. It's fucking.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the first half of this year is probably one of the more stacked ones in quite a while.
I feel like we say this every year, then everyone runs from then everything gets delayed and shit.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been coming up into the first part of every single year for the last like 5 years. We're like, oh god, January through February, January, February, March. Oh shit, and we're in the mail. It's like, oh shit.
There's a chance some get delayed because a lot of shit now, but I feel like a lot of these are kind of set in stone.
Yeah.
But we will see.
But neither of us are Diablo people.
Yeah.
But looks cool.
Yep. Street Fighter 6 coming June 2nd. Speaking of June.
It's a little later than I thought, honestly. I thought it was going to be a little bit sooner. But still fun.
I guess my mindset was I expected it by June. I had no expectations beyond that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Announced the brand new characters Manon, Marissa, and JP. And the return of DJ. Characters look crazy.
I do.
Game continues to look crazy and
silly game.
Yeah,
and I'm into it.
Yep.
Not gonna play it, but I'm excited to watch people play it and watch Max like kid a lot. Hopefully.
I guess I'll say this. Skipping a couple, we'll go back. Because it's related to fighting games. Tekken 8. No new characters announced, but announced the return of Jun, which is Jin's mother. She hasn't been playable since 2.
I'm love Jin. Love Jun.
Kazuya's wife.
I knew that.
Yep. King. And this one, King.
He's the leopard guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I'm like,
Paul Phoenix, Lars, Martial Law, and Jack 8.
Is Jack O inspired by Jack 8?
No.
Well,
they are vastly different. This is a giant Schwarzenegger-ass looking robot man.
Got it.
Yeah, bunch of crazy return of characters. Paul Phoenix got a crazy redesign that I think I've seen mixed things on, but you know what? I'm okay with people changing up this shit. Trailer, not the craziest, maybe or the best. I think I think the way they framed it made it sound like it would be a lot more gameplay focused than it actually was.
Yeah. It was over in an instant.
Yeah. I should have done my research for this, so I apologize. I saw some people reacting and made it sound like this might be going more to straight up 2D.
That's boring.
Yeah.
That's lame.
I'm not sure about that. I'll try to remember. I know it's 2 weeks away, so help me remember. I might try to look at that for a follow-up.
Yeah. Trailer could just be any Tekken trailer in the world, outside of the fact that it was pretty, but
the story looks like it's going to be insane in the way of...
Is Tekken stories ever not insane?
Yeah, but they look more like they're Super Saiyans fighting now.
I mean, the man literally turned into a devil in the last game, like a demonic Satan man with horns.
We're like busting through buildings and shit, man.
I'm sure
like they normal shit.
I mean, okay, sure. I mean, I know nothing about Tekken. I just know that it's long.
It's one of those things. Like, they've done that crazy shit before, but that's one of those things where a lot of the trailers doing that. And it's like, man, how do a lot of these characters compete?
They all go Super Saiyan, Jeff.
True. Paul Phoenix is my favorite Super Saiyan. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Got a new trailer scene for it. It is coming May 26th. And they have confirmed that Batman is in the game and will be Kevin Conroy's last time performing him.
Pretty hype. Crazy.
That alone,
surprising.
I'm going to have to get the game on that alone.
I've already been enjoying everything I've seen from the game. Obviously, this didn't show us a whole lot more of the game, but at least got to see the heroes a little bit. They're fighting.
So I think, like, this was going to be here no matter what. I think they changed what the trailer was going to be. I think they were not going. I think they were going to say Batman.
Probably.
For either like at the very end of the market cycle or for you to discover in game. But with Kevin Conroy passing, they decided for a tribute to him, like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to let people know, hey, this is going to be his last time playing Batman.
Yeah, that's fair. I definitely didn't expect that he, would have filmed this already. So
yeah,
that's awesome. No, it's very cool.
Yep. Still excited for the game. Yeah, the scene they showed was fine. Obviously, it was just kind of them. Yeah, I guess probably the first time you really see Batman in the game. So they're like, okay, we'll just show this for the sake of doing.
Yeah, no, especially with the moment. I think it was very good. Very touching. Very good.
Yeah. So still excited. I guess I'll ask you this because I've seen some. This kind of goes back to some earlier trailers, but especially with Batman. People seem to be mixed/upset about the whole, again, Justice League being evil, mind-controlled thing.
No, I love it.
Yeah. People are very upset, particularly with Batman. It's like Batman's mind control. It's Batman. Like, man, you guys are boring. This is why Batman mainstream stories can be stale as fuck and the same thing.
Well, number one, I 100% I would put my life on the line and say this is certainly not the first time there's been some property where Batman was mind controlled to be evil.
Oh yeah.
I would. You can put a gun in my head. That would be like, yeah. I'm sure this has happened before in some major comic or movie or something.
Happened in Young Justice.
There you go. No, I mean, like, it's not gonna. He's even in this universe. They're not going to actually kill them. They're not going to be evil forever. Neither of those things are going to happen. It's not going to get to the end in the Justice League. They're all actually dead. And it's like, well, shit, or whatever. I mean, if it did, I would be okay with that too. Whatever, that's interesting. That's great.
I would love it.
It's not going to happen, though. I don't know. Chill the fuck out. Yeah. I think it's interesting. I think it's a good role reversal. You usually play as those characters. It's kind of cool to find out.
What I'm hyped is the potential for the boss.
Yeah.
Because boss fights in Arkham games, like Rocksteady boss fights, are awesome. So doing that with Green Lantern, Superman, Flash, Batman, Wonder Woman, like, I'm excited.
Well, like, I mean, the heroes have the coolest movesets because they're the most thought out, the ones that we see the most or whatever. So it's kind of cool to see those used. I want these
fighting them.
I want these fights to be like decently harder, if not hard, at least complex. Like they're doing some crazy shit. It's like
now in that way, I've seen some people kind of outside of the actual like the way the story is. Maybe a little bummed that Kevin Conroy's last time playing Batman is him as a mind-controlled villain in a way. Instead of like, as a, lead or something, which I can kind of get, I can be more on board with that.
Oh, well, I mean...
it's the way it happens. I'm just going to look at it this way. I'm just happy we get one final thing.
You can't make these things perfect when someone passed away unexpectedly.
Oh, yeah. No one's like criticizing it. It's kind of like, I can understand that sentiment.
And like I said, he probably has lines as a normal person at the end. I mean, I just think there's like it's like a 0.01% chance that there's like not a happy or whatever resolution for the heroes.
Now I will say I'm going to get into Arkham spoilers a little bit. Some people were wondering about Batman in general because the end of Arkham Knight, it's up for interpretation, but Bruce Wayne is kind of presumed to be dead.
Yeah.
So I guess this kind of, but it's one of those up to interpretation kind of things, if I remember correctly.
He's a zombie.
I kind of be reminded back. It's been a while since I played Arkham Knight.
He's a zombie.
Yeah, but I'm excited for this game. The timing is very unfortunate because Zelda comes out a couple weeks earlier, and then Final Fantasy 16 comes out a couple weeks later.
Jesus.
And those are, we're probably making our anticipation list next week for next podcast. I imagine those are going to be pretty high up too.
You're gonna be scrambling, juggling games. I'm just gonna be cozy playing Zelda. Not a care in the world. Just nothing but Zelda.
We got the first official clip from the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Yeah, and a new trailer after that.
Yeah, another little snippet trailer thing. It's crazy things. I continue to be impressed by this movie.
I am too.
Yeah, just all the Easter eggs in the background. I don't know if you saw it, but in the background of them, like they had the Odyssey cap shop in there.
Okay, that's all. There was a lot of like that whole city looked cool. It's all the things. I love the music too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is one of those things where like is one of the shows the weaknesses of one of the weaknesses of the Sonic movies. Is they don't really use the iconic music much. I don't know what the thing is with it because
no 7 rings in the hand, Joe?
No, but I'm happy to see they don't seem to be afraid to use that stuff and do remixes and all that kind of stuff for it.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I've been kind of upfront about this. I mean, this is my preferred version of a video game adaptation thing or whatever. I understand the Sonic movies are good. I'm glad they're cute and good or whatever. Why do we keep doing this weird, like, fish out, like, this weird live action? He's not even in his own game world. He's on planet Earth. I'm like, why? Yeah. Why?
I know fish out while we're being funny because this is still that kind of movie.
It is. I mean, that's why
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made your point.
But that's not what I'm going to. Yeah. But so, I mean, this is way more.
I would have preferred this kind of thing with Sonic. Where I'm just happy that at least what they did with Sonic was actually good.
Right. But I think that's, the reason why you don't get that, part of the reason why I think you don't get that music is like they're kind of trying to erase the Sonic from Sonic in a way. I mean, like they're trying, or at least minimize it. It's like, because they're like,
they definitely
for some reason they didn't think that Sonic in the Sonic world would be a palatable enough movie for mass audiences. So it's like, all right, we got to tone down the Sonic and bring Sonic into the...
It was definitely that way in the first movie. They definitely eased up on in the second movie. It sounded like they're easing up even more going forward.
But there is zero of that in Mario, and I love it. Yeah. It's like, Mario is like, it's just Mario, and I love that.
And I think you brought it up during our actual live stream that we actually heard a little more of Chris Pratt, like full sentences. Mm-hmm. You could hear the Italian.
No,
you could hear.
This is the best.
A little bit of an accent in
I heard it. I was like, that's workable. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. I mean, I'm not saying like there probably could be better. It's not like 10 out of 10 amazing, but I was like, that sounds enough like Mario. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
People are gonna people are gonna keep memeing it to death. I'm like, I think he sounds fine.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I'm done. I'm over the Chris Pratt discussion, the discourse. I'm like, I'm ready to put it to bed. Like, he sounds good enough. Let's go. Full steam ahead.
When we get to real talk, who's gonna voice Wario? That is what's on everyone's mind.
Sequel or post credits.
Wait, what am I even talking about? Danny DeVito. Okay, moving on.
Please.
Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC announced exclusively for PS5. Arrives April 19th. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really think about to point out. It is kind of lame to have a DLC that is one platform.
That's what?
There's one platform, like, because it's PS5, PS4.
Okay. So this one's only PS5.
Okay. So PS4 owners like,
well, Final 7 Remake did it. And I would have been a lot more salty about it if we didn't have a PS5 in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I agree. It sucks. To be honest, I do not remember this trailer at all because I just kind of wasn't paying attention.
I think that was the time you went out and were talking.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we got a lot of stuff to get to. I mean, I can't believe that's the point I'm at with Horizon, but sorry.
You showed absolutely no interest in playing 2.
No, not really.
Crash Team Rumble announced. I think it is coming next year. Yeah. I was excited for a Crash announcement. I figured it was going to be something like this. It was going to be a multiplayer game. I didn't know exactly what kind. I was kind of hoping maybe it would be a spin of like Mario Party. Because even if it's not like the greatest thing ever, it could still be fun. Yeah. But with this kind of like online multiplayer thing, we've talked about it more so off camera. Mm-hmm. I don't think it has much of a chance.
It has 0%. I mean, because Crash is a big IP in some ways, kind of in a retro nostalgia way, but like not enough to just sell regardless of what you do. Where it's like you can make a shitty arena fighter Mario thing or whatever, and a certain amount of people are going to buy it because Mario or Pokemon or something like that. It's like Crash is not at that level, and you saw that because they actually made everyone's like, oh, make a new Crash, make an actual new mainline Crash. The trilogy's cool, make a new mainline Crash. Didn't sell. People didn't go buy it. It's like okay, so this has no fucking chance. If a new Crash game can't do it, this, I mean, and looking at it, it's like that could just be any kind of low budget mobile-y arena fighter thing. Just insert other characters onto it. There's like this just feels like an Activision board decision, and nothing more. And I think it's going to be a swing and a miss, both in quality and commercial. And honestly, I hate to be that way. The quality doesn't matter. I just don't think this is going to... It doesn't matter how good it is.
I'm not even talking about the quality of it. It might be fun because I think Toys for Bob is a talented studio, so it might be fun. Just as far as like its critical success, I'm just not expecting much.
It's a tall order to try to break into that market.
Yep. Earthblade revealed, coming in 2024.
And the hell is this? Which one is it?
How dare you? This one's Celeste devs.
Oh, okay. I didn't know their name. I just knew Horns. Horn Kid. Okay. And Earthblade, that's going to get on me. I'll be honest, Earthblade is a very generic sounding name, so I don't know if that's going to stick with me quite as much as Celeste. But
And it has been claimed that Lana Rain is returning to work on this.
Hell yes. No. Immediately. Day
no
one.
questions asked.
Yeah. It's a little ways away, unfortunately, but yep. Take your time.
Especially with this kind of announcement, I can feel pretty good about them, especially with what they showed. We may at least get kind of consistent updates with it between now and then.
Yeah.
And it could be early 2024, which
sure.
we never know, or it could be planned for that currently, which is in not really like that far away.
Mm-hmm.
A little over 12 months.
Yeah.
So hopefully.
Take your time. It's going to be great.
Make it perfect.
Yes.
Like Celeste.
Yes.
Bayonetta Origins, Syriza and the Lost Demon announced, coming March 17th.
That's a curveball.
Yep, no one expected. I remember it was announced as like, new game or something, mentioning that. And then the Switch logo goes, I'm like, ooh. Then Bayonetta was like, wait, what? Bayonetta actually just came out. And I think you guys talking about Black Ports, like, but he said new game. And then this happened. I was like, whoa. Yeah, did not expect this.
No,
So people who play Bayonetta 3 probably expected this happening at some point in the war, because apparently a secret thing in 3 is a demo pretty much for this game. But yeah, I think also a big curveball for this is, and I know that makes me/us part of the problem when talking about these games and how much value they have. It is a $60 box game. When a lot of people were probably like saw this and were like, oh, probably 30, maybe 40 at most dollar eShop game. I think it's gonna have a tall order to sell. Is just my thing. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's gonna be more story focused, which is not Bayonetta's thing, and it's a completely different gameplay style.
Right. I think it's just It's just a poor understanding of the IP you have. Yeah. It's another one of those similar to the Crash thing. Obviously, very different. Whatever been a lot in every other conceivable way, but similar to that, where it's like I think it could still be really, really good and still crash and burn financially, because it reminds me almost of like when we have some indie devs, some like indie game that's like a little bit popular, or like has a little bit of buzz or whatever, and then it's like, oh, but we're doing a full movie and a series and a fucking theme park. We're multimedia, we're like doing all this shit or whatever. This is gonna be fucking huge or whatever. It's like, I think you are overestimating the Bayonetta's back. It's like Bayonetta is a little bit of a niche property, and that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. It's okay if you just make your Bayonetta games for Bayonetta fans, and that's it. Or whatever. Bayonetta doesn't have to be this big old like sprawling out into other things. I just don't think it's gonna do well.
But it's the thing. I agree with you, and I feel like the reaction would be different if it was like proposed as like shown as a cheaper thing. It just might be more actually ambitious than the trailer actually makes it look and everything. Mm-hmm. But based on what we saw. Again, if it was just like a $20, $30 eShop thing, I think expectations and reactions to this would be a little bit different.
For sure.
Because the thing is, like, Bayonetta sales can be fine. It's like sometimes they're fine depending on the release, and sometimes they're not. And even like at its max, it's okay for what it is.
Right.
And this is going to be a fraction of that. Like that is who you're selling this to, a fraction of Bayonetta fans.
That's what I just wish it felt like they understood that more, but the fact they're doing full price makes me feel like they don't quite understand that. They just think this is something a little bit bigger than it is. And it's just, I don't know, Bayonetta, high octane, over the top slasher fighter game or whatever. It's just, is that the right one to do this type of game for?
Yeah.
It's like, is there much overlap between the people who want to play the Bayonetta and the people who want to play this? I mean, there are gonna be people who are Bayonetta lore heads who are gonna eat this shit up, but like, how big is that group?
Yeah. Hellboy Weird announced. Looks interesting. Art style looks interesting, I guess. They didn't show much, so don't know how exactly go off of it.
Yeah, didn't like jump out and strike me too much, but it was more just surprised someone was making a Hellboy game. But
Crime Boss Rocky City announced. Cast includes Michael Madsen, Chuck Norris, Danny Glover, Kim Basinger, Danny Trejo, and Vanilla Ice.
So one of those where you sure shelled out a bunch of money for a cast. I hope you have a game that's worth a shit.
That's one of those where you probably should really show some gameplay.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the cast, but then just kind of like,
all you just show the cast. Mm-hmm. I can tell you who's in this game actor wise, and that's all I can tell you. And it's like, kind of failure of an announcement. But
I'll just combine both of these real quick. Last of Us Part 1 PC release set for March 3rd. And also Return is coming to PC early 2023.
Cool.
Last of Us, honestly, coming to PC quicker than I thought it would. I guess it's technically 6 months, but
it's rewarding the people who waited. And like, I feel like these windows...
I'm happy for Olivia.
Yes.
And also happy for Alex, so he doesn't even have to worry about her trying to buy a PS5.
Yep.
She would not accept my offer to just borrow mine.
There's definitely some people who did do that, for sure. But in general, I just think the windows feel like they're getting shorter. Obviously, this is a remake of like a remaster / remake of a game, so it's probably a little bit less priority in them like holding it back or whatever. But I feel like those windows are getting shorter.
I think the biggest test will.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you. Will be Horizon and God of War, whose first games have gotten on PC, but I think it'll be interesting to see how long it takes for those games. I guess also because I'm also curious how far after Last of Us Part 1, Part 2 will get on there, because that's not on there yet.
Yeah.
I can understand them maybe wanting to get this out first, so people that are PC only can be like, play both.
Yeah. And they probably want The Last of Us TV show to sell PS5s.
True. Let's see.
Was Last of Us Part 2 was that PS5 exclusive? Or no, that came out. But that was before the PS5 came out. Yeah.
Before The Last of Us, it came out the year
it
came out the year the system launched, just early in the summer.
Brain.
It doesn't even have. I mean, I guess it has PS5 like update shit, but yeah.
My brain's breaking down. It's okay.
You're fine. It was during COVID times. You get a pass. Baldur's Gate 3 releasing August 2023.
I'm so far away.
To give you time to play Zelda.
Fair.
They do. They did that especially for you.
I'm very much looking forward to it. I mean, that's probably going to be one of those games I don't talk about a whole lot until suddenly I'm like, no, this is like a fucking game of the year. Like, this is like number 2 in the game of the year. And like, fuck all y'all. It's like, partially because I don't have anyone to talk to about it. Because, like no one played Divinity. But it's a good game. I know you know that feel with so many franchises, so I guess I'll get one of them.
You don't need to listen to me more. Transformers Reactivate announced. Did not know this was a Transformer game until literally the very end.
Very few people did, I'm sure.
Yeah. There's apparently some kind of online game thing. Could be cool.
Some very gritty and realistic. Interesting.
Yeah.
Don't really care, but interesting. Sure.
Banishers Ghost of Eden announced from Don't Nod.
It certainly did not look like a Don't Nod game.
So here's the thing. I forgot about this game. And it is definitely more in line with this. Vampire was Don't Nod.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, this definitely will probably be more in line with that.
Yeah.
I just hear that and immediately go to Life is Strange.
No, it's fair. It's fair.
Like, oh, this is the part. Just like, oh, wait, no, they've technically done something like this before.
Yeah.
And Vampire was received decently. It had its issues, but people liked it.
It was swimming.
Yeah. So we will see. Immortals of Avium revealed. It's an EA original made from a team of devs that worked on Dead Space, Halo, and BioShock.
I don't remember this one.
It wasn't like a long trailer. It was kind of like a first person, like just showing magic and all that kind of stuff. It looked decent.
You look decent.
Thank you. I say it looked decent. It didn't really show much, but it looked cool enough. And from those devs, it's like something I'll keep an eye on. Could be cool. Like it might be more story heavy and stuff.
So day one, Jeff's getting it day one. Is what I heard.
Replace got a new trailer.
Yeah, it's the like 2D HD 2D cool thing. Yeah, it looks the art style looks very neat. It's one of those. If it suddenly becomes one of those indies where just like, everyone's like, oh my god, it's fucking amazing. But okay, cool.
Dead Cells Return to Castlevania announced. That's neat.
Jolly.
Good for Dead Cells.
Jolly. I like it.
Good for Konami to actually let people use your shit.
They'll put Castlevania in things recently.
Yeah.
Just won't make their own.
Valiant Hearts Coming Home is headed to mobile devices via Netflix. And Darby, I know during it, I think it was you might have mentioned, it's just the game going to mobile. No, Darby, this is the sequel.
No, so I was the one shouting, like, is this the sequel? And then it got to the end, and it was not the sequel. But so this is a new one. This
is a new Valiant Hearts game.
Okay.
That's apparently exclusive to Netflix.
That's dumb.
And I'll probably play it.
So you have to play it on mobile?
At least at first.
Put it on PC, you dumbos. Yeah, no, Valiant Hearts is very good.
Yeah.
I wonder, do we know is it still World War I or is it World War II now or something?
I don't know. I don't think they give much details.
It definitely felt like it definitely, they probably should have, I don't know, made it more obvious that it was a sequel. But
yeah. Because Coming Home is one of those taglines.
I thought it was just coming home to...
Yeah, it's like... Yeah. Putting out something different.
I am forgiving myself for thinking that.
I'm not calling you out.
No, yeah.
I'm just making clear now, this is a sequel, so therefore this announcement is more exciting.
Yes, for sure. The mobile thing is dumb, but
yes,
I just hate playing games on my phone. But oh well. Well, there's them fucking. Also in the, I have BlueStacks, whatever, which is kind of a jerry-rigged way around playing mobile games on your computer, but it works. And even in the Game Awards, they had Google Play Games thing or whatever, like a way to play your mobile games on PC. So you probably could just play it on PC.
I'll try to figure that out.
Yeah, I would much rather play it on the PC. On the PC.
Valiant Hearts, one of the best things Ubisoft's ever done.
Oh yeah, easy.
Fire Emblem Engage got a DLC trailer. We're getting the 3. Okay. 3 house leaders as one character. They don't deserve to be themselves. And also, Edelgard was the only one who talked, which Edelgard is right. So that's okay. And Tiki's her own character. And I need to look at it again. Looks like maybe the people that use her ring can turn into dragons. I don't know. It'd be fun if they all got unique dragon transformations. I know that's not going to happen. That'd be cool.
Jeff supports genocide. You heard it here first.
Hey, only when a hot chick does. I have standards.
Of course, Jeff. Of course.
So yeah, kind of weird that we're getting this day, and this is part of like the first pack of the DLC, whatever. And it's day 1, which is kind of sucky. It's like, why couldn't these just be in the game? But
Yeah.
I
don't know. This game's feeling kind of... I never want to use that word. I can't think of another word, though. Should I just use the word?
I don't know what word you're trying to do. I think I can get the idea of the word, but...
It's feeling lazy. It's feeling like Three Houses is real good. Let's just kind of copy and shit out another one and just get as much money as we can from in the DLC kind of. I don't know. It's just I'm just not getting
that. I feel like in some ways it's trying to obviously Three Houses were a success, but so was Fire Emblem Heroes. This feels like a game that's made to appeal more to the Fire Emblem Heroes crowd than necessarily the Three Houses crowd. Because the general tone of it, from what I've seen, and like character designs, kind of feel like they're made to in some ways make characters for Fire Emblem Heroes, and to
made
appeal
to
to
sell
them.
skins.
Yeah, and even like they have skins in. They, a lot of characters get a lot of skins in Fire Emblem Heroes, and a lot of those skins give up like the characters just kind of act more goofy compared to their regular in-game counterpart. Which Fire Emblem can be goofy at times, but those feel like it takes them up a notch.
Yep.
It feels like character designs and character personalities are made more to appeal to the Heroes crowd than Three Houses.
It's just
And I'm not saying Three Houses is the most mature game in the world as far as that shit, but in comparison.
Yeah, it's more mobile game. Skin selling.
And even and especially with the whole, Hero in the Rings thing, which I'm not against. That sounds like it'd be a fun mechanic. Especially since I
just need to understand.
anniversary.
I need to understand this series just does not spark joy anymore for me, and I need to not be a curmudgeon and probably just stop talking about it because it just doesn't. It makes me sad. It just kind of when I see trailers, even the trailer didn't do anything wrong. It just does not spark joy. So I should probably just get Marvel Midnight Suns and just stop talking about it. Just
I had mentioned this. I think it was the last podcast. At least as far as strategy games go, Midnight Suns, I'm going to plan on being my next one up over this because that one just looks more exciting to me.
Yeah,
and even this, I probably will get at some point, but I think it says something that I'm saying that and not immediately
you
on board.
Secretly know I'm right that the series
You're
is
never right.
on downturn and that Three Houses was the end of the line and that they should just fucking release Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn on Switch so that we could actually play good Fire Emblems. You just secretly know that all of that is correct.
Yes, I regret putting Fire Emblem Three House my number 2 for that.
Yeah,
right.
you do. Yeah. I mean, like you made a big show of that to just to prove, being contrarian to me, but you knew deep down.
Yep, I only do things to be a contrarian. But yeah, One Piece Odyssey is definitely gonna be my game next month. And SpongeBob, I guess, because I got that pre-ordered. And finally, Dune Awakening in-engine trailer. That's the MMO thing. Look neat.
This is gonna be a long podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, this is kind of also involving our Game Award post talk. It's fine. We do it every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Darby, we're moving on to Game Award winners.
Yeah.
Again, not going to talk about every single one in great detail.
There were a few surprises.
Yeah. We can just talk about, some of the awards that stuck out to us, general narratives and the like,
Mm-hmm. I'm just glad they didn't mess up. They gave Goaty to the one true winner, Bill Clinton. We're good.
Yes. For whatever rabbi, whatever.
Reformed Orthodox rabbi, Jeff.
Bill Clinton. Yeah, that.
Elden Ring, baby.
Yep, like the confetti.
Yeah.
Spaghetti.
I mean, it was very obvious it was going to happen, but I'm glad it still happened. It's deserved. It's earned. I'm glad.
Yep. Again, as we talked about, Elden Ring is just one of those games that's like Breath of the Wild, where it's like, it's an event. It is something that's going to...
I'm sorry that you had to come out the same year as it God of War. You probably would have won like just about any other year. I'm not even saying I support that, but just the media in general would have awarded you number one in like any other year. But
wait, what are we talking about?
I'm saying to God of War. I'm saying I'm sorry, Sony Santa Monica. You didn't do anything wrong. You would have won any other year. You just unfortunately came out the same year as Elden Ring. It just wasn't in the cards for you.
Yep. Whether we would agree with that necessarily.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not endorsing that myself, but we both know that if it came out like in literally any other year other than maybe Breath of the Wild year, then yeah, it would have.
It would have been interesting though, because obviously Horizon's right here, so they're open to releasing big games the same year. If it was God of War, Ragnarok, and Last of Us Part 2.
That would have been
interesting.
That would have been fascinating. That would have been very interesting.
Yeah, I agree with everything except maybe that's the one we at least have a conversation.
That would have been a pretty fun, but also like there might be an actual casualty. Like someone might die.
Yep.
The internet might get so bad that someone dies.
Yep. Game direction, Elden Ring. Best narrative God of War. I don't think that was a surprise whatsoever.
Nah.
I kind of mentioned Immortality could have potentially been a dark horse per se, but with it, but it's one of those probably not many people played it. I haven't played it. It's a game I want to play because it seems so crazy and unique.
Yes.
And it's on Game Pass, so Best art direction, Elden Ring. Deserved. You
scorn.
Best score in music. Okay, that's the one I take issue with.
Get them, Jeff. Get them. Get their ass.
This is one of those where it's like, okay, I played a good bit of God of War, so I can, enough to maybe compare. Xenoblade should have won, damn it. I will die on this hill.
Fight for anime, Jeff. Fight for it.
Now, I legitimately, Xenoblade is one of the series of some of the best soundtracks in gaming to me. There are not too many things that I hold in as high regard as Xenoblade. Obviously it's like Nier, Persona, Final Fantasy, etc. But I think Xenoblade is in the top echelon. I'm happy at least finally got nominated after all this freaking time to at least get some recognition. But I think it should have won. I mean, they even made their own flutes, Darby. They made their own flutes for this game to make its own sound.
They actually crafted a new flute.
They crafted flutes for this game to get the sound they wanted.
Amazing.
Again, God of War soundtrack and sound design and everything, it's good, it's fine, but at least so far it's nothing stands out as spectacular to me. I also could have been down for Metal Hellsinger because the songs I've heard slay.
Yeah, it's always a little lame for me when it's licensed music songs.
Oh no, they actually they got popular metal vocalists, but they actually wrote all the songs.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'd rather fix me. For some reason, my mic is incredibly loud and peaky.
Oh, okay. It's the opposite. So yeah, I could understand Metal Hellsinger because I think what it was doing was cool. It was at least I understand from your standpoint it being potentially oh, it's all licensed shit, but no, they actually wrote it all just using popular metal vocalists. And I'm a fan of pretty much all the vocalists they put in there. So it should have been Xenoblade. Best audio design, yeah. God of War 1. Best performance and winner of longest speech, Christopher Judge.
Yeah, the fact that Jeff just brought it up, it's
yeah, yeah. Gains for Impact, As Dust Falls. Definitely one of those. This definitely feels like one of those categories where the winner is usually the one that feels like it got the most hype around, most talked about.
Still, good category. We like it. Jolly.
Best ongoing 14. I don't know specifically what 14 did this year. Should have been Fortnite, damn it.
I agree. The weebs have won too much.
Yeah.
We're going back the other way now.
The weebs are just upset that in Fortnite Goku can hit the gritty. They're just scared of it. Okay, I think now we can talk about... We kind of brought up, we don't need to spend on it too long on it. But Stray. Winning Best Indie and Best Debut Indie. And, we kind of talked about it, so again, we don't need to spend too long on it, but I don't think it's a surprise they won these with.
It's kind of all the things, we've already said before. I just think the Game Awards has a... the Game Awards just have an indie problem where I think that they just they're not dialed in anywhere near as much on indies as they are on AAA things, so it kind of just becomes and the Game Awards has a lot of the, I feel like some of these awards are just I've heard of that game award, or it's not as much about the actual quality of the game or whatever. I think there's a fair amount of times that some of the people at these big outlets are just they haven't even played them, or they play one of them or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, the cute cat game, that was fun,
Again, so we talked about it, looking at the best indie, the rest of the games that are on here, Gold of the Land, Neon White, Seafood Tunic, heard so much more positive stuff that. from a bunch of different people for all 4 of these other games. They're like, oh no, this is a true GOTY contender. Didn't really hear that much for Stray, to be honest. Yeah, I just kind of felt like that people felt like they needed an indie in there, and Stray is the one that more people have heard of / play. Because it's the more higher budget looking cat game that Sony put.
Yeah. There you go.
Best mobile, Marvel Snap, not surprise. Best community support, 14. That's one of those things. It's whatever. Innovation and accessibility. Good job, God of War. Congrats to all the people nominated. Just one of those categories. Feels good. I saw some people upset that Moss won Best VR.
No,
like, what the fuck is this game? Why did Among Us win? I'm like, crap more. I need to play it. Best action game. Maybe I'll tell you. I don't know if I'd say surprised. It kind of surprised me a little bit.
We were all pretty surprised. Though. I think, I thought that was a surprise. I mean, honestly, when I'm looking at the games now, it's like slightly less of a surprise. I was just surprised to hear that name. I still would have thought it would have been Neon White or Sifu above it, but yeah, good for them. Good for them.
I think it was a good night for Nintendo. As far as, unfortunately, the one that was up for GOTY didn't win anything, but a lot of the other games won. I think they had like 5 games that won awards.
Yeah.
Which, I think the Bayonetta got some recognition. Best Action Adventure, God of War, not surprised.
What?
The category was literally almost all the non-RPG nominees plus Tunic. Best roleplay. Oh man, who's surprised?
Yep.
Again, I'll say it again. I think I said it last podcast. I'm just happy that all the games in this category are actually RPGs, like full-grown RPGs this time.
It's a rarity.
Yeah. All nice, normal JRPGs.
I mean, Elden Ring.
Yep. Best fighting multiverses. Let's go. I'm glad Sifu didn't win.
He's just hating Sifu, the one true fighting game.
Yeah. Best family Kirby. Let's go.
Feels very good. Very, very good.
One of those weird categories where, at least in my experience playing this, Kirby is the best one that I have played, so I'm happy.
Very, very
the
good.
only category then it should have been in something else.
Should have been the GOTY. Should have been GOTY.
I agree.
Oh, there.
But yeah, I'm happy it won something. The game's truly great. Best Zen strategy, Mario plus Rabbids Parts. It's one of the things that I love the game. I'm not going to say it necessarily deserves to win because it just like you talk about categories where people win because it's what people have heard of.
Oh, that's
this
for
is
sure.
one of those, even if the game's really good. So,
For sure.
yeah.
They know Mario. They don't know Total War. So
All these other games, I'm sure, are fantastic. Best sports racing, Gran Turismo 7, no surprise. Probably rightly deserved. Best multiplayer Splatoon, so let's go.
feels very good. Very, very good.
It was able to win even though Nintendo Switch Online exists. Truly.
That, I mean, fighting
Overcoming adversity.
Truly, yeah. The fact that Nintendo has to be the first time and maybe only time they'll ever win best multiplayer. So soak it in, soak it in.
Yeah. We were fighting these things. Creator, Ludwig. What about the categories for it? Best Savior Indie, Stray. Best Adaptation, Arcane.
I would have rioted. That's one of the ones I would have rioted.
Yeah.
If they had announced Sonic, me and Jeff might have actually fought. I might have punched Jeff. It would have gotten ugly.
Jim Carrey, man, I'm almost. What's this game? Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm happy that they actually had the most anticipated game category where all the games are probably actually going to come out this upcoming year.
Who knows?
Look at you, Starfield.
Yeah, who knows?
I think it's the only one without a date this way.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Best esports. Okay, that's all that. Overall, yeah, nothing too crazy. A couple next surprises. We're falling apart. Darby, we're going to talk about the government. government entities, okay?
All right.
This comes from Taylor Lyles and Matt Cameron from IGN. The Federal Trade Commission, aka the FTC, has announced that it will seek to block Microsoft from acquiring Activision Blizzard. In a press release, the agency says that Xbox would gain control of top video game franchises and therefore harm competition in high-performance gaming consoles and subscription services by denying or degrading rivals access to its popular content. The FTC has pointed to Microsoft's record of acquiring gaming content to suppress competition from rival consoles, including its acquisition of ZeniMax, parent company of Bethesda Softworks. The FTC cites games like Starfield and Redfall, which will be Xbox exclusives, as examples of companies withholding gains from rival consoles.
I'm a little surprised this might actually work for Sony. This is crazy.
Part of me thinks it's probably still going to go through, but I also did not expect it to get to this point.
Yeah, it's probably going to go through with concessions. Like, I think when Disney had to buy Fox or whatever, they had to carve off some of it.
So we're getting a lot more articles about, and it's hard for me to keep up with, especially when looking through stuff when making a podcast for every 2 weeks. Because, yeah, this stuff has obviously been ramping up between Microsoft and Sony, especially more recently. That's, why, relation to this news coming up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Microsoft even announced that they made an agreement with Nintendo to have Call of Duty on their consoles for 10 years if the thing went through. And they said, yeah, we're trying to make a deal with Sony, but they're not playing ball. Obviously, their words, so we don't know exactly all details as far as what exactly those deals with Sony entails, or even where Nintendo entails. But Microsoft also just trying to do their stuff with that to try to make sure this deal goes through. Being like, hey, we'll give you Call of Duty.
Yeah, it feels like there's going to be something like that. There's going to be some concession that just Call of Duty can't go.
Yeah, we don't need to go the nitty gritty of it. We've talked about it ad nauseum since this thing was announced that Call of Duty, there was a chance of at least being the franchise that it would make sense for them to just keep multi-platform like Minecraft.
But yeah, I mean, I don't blame for so. Obviously, this might just take it out of their hands. They might have been doing it anyway, but this might just make it where it's like it's actually illegal for you to. Mm-hmm. To make that exclusive, like there's a good chance they would have just done it anyway, but that's just, I mean, in fact, the number's already gotten to like 10 plus years. It's already, they probably wouldn't have done it at that point, but like whatever. So I agree, it's going to go through. It's just going to be that, maybe some other concessions. It's just something's going to happen. I mean, I think it seems like Sony won as far as getting something carved off of this, probably.
Yeah. And at this point, curious to see what exactly all this is going to turn into as far as the nitty gritty of it. It's a wait and see for the most part. Yeah. I just want to show my Game Pass. I'm a simple man.
Well, you will get that, probably. But I mean, I don't know, unless they force them to take something. But at least the good news for you is that most of this is centered around Call of Duty.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a weird thing. Like, this is a complicated thing where technically I joke about the Game Pass. I mean, as a consumer, I also kind of like that, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if that did not happen. Part of me just kind of may want this to go through to get Bobby Kotick out of there.
That too. Please make that.
I mean, again, and it's a multifaceted thing. If a bunch of employees said they would maybe prefer if this didn't go through, well, we'd be like, okay. Yeah. Like, they know more about this than me.
Yeah. There's movement happening, though.
And we've talked about before with Sony, like the way they're fighting this stuff is funny. It makes them look pathetic in a way, but I also get why they're doing it.
Makes the most.
Again, it's as a consumer funny.
Fiduciary duty.
True.
Project L, Jeff.
Project L. We got an update, not at the Game Awards.
Not at the Game Awards, surprising. Yeah,
but also it's surprisingly just kind of leading up to it, but then once the actual thing was what it is announced to be, you're like, okay.
Fast-paced tag fighter looking like Power Rangers, Jeff, out here. Oh, yeah.
Tell me no more.
Just language up in here.
Power Rangers are great.
This looks really good. Looks really, really good. I love how much mobility everyone has. Like, I'm probably gonna be terrible at it, but like, I love the like, dashing, like doing 3 dashes in the air, and all this other people just zipping around all over the place. Mm-hmm. The thing with like bringing your tag fighter in was like Jinx threw out like a bomb, and then Echo comes in and hits her bomb into the other one. Like, just the fact that different elements can like, interact with each other. Obviously, we're still very early in this, don't know a lot, but it just looks good when it's played.
And I think the way they explain things, and I think they did a good job of giving us timetables for it. They even I think they said 2 years ago they were still developing it or planning it as a one-on-one fighter. Mm-hmm. So for how long it's taking and everything, and I think that just also gives us an idea of how early this game was when they announced it, and how early this game still technically is, because in its current iteration, considering they were 2 years ago we were doing this as a one-on-one fighter and not a tag team.
Yeah.
So it's giving us more context. Okay, how long does this taking in comparison to it all makes sense now?
No, it does. Yeah, and it's still going to be a while. I think it's a 2024 game with the way this is still feels like very early up.
But but I like the way they're doing this stuff, and I wish more devs could do this. Given as we talked about, I understand it because video game fans are stupid, do not understand things being in progress. But we can already see improvement with animations and just the way the models work, and even stuff like Jinx facial animations. I can already see the improvement and stuff between the last update.
It looks really
and Alawi's we saw a little bit of her gameplay. So they were 30% done with her tentacle and stuff. It's based on what you explained to me what her deal was, and I'm sure you feel the same way, how we expected her to potentially fight. We're seeing that there with the tentacles just there doing crazy stuff, and you be able to combo into it and all that.
Right, yeah. And it's appearing being a very zoner, hitting you from both sides.
Yeah, and especially with a tag fighter, the combos you can do with that.
Sure, be crazy.
Using the assist to bounce off of it and all that.
I'm gonna play Alawi no matter how weird she is and bad at her I am. But no, the animations are very fluid. It's super duper pretty, and I mean, it looks very League of Legends, but it also looks like its own thing. I think this is gonna be a pretty crisp and polished looking game by the end of it, because it already looks very good, and I think it's gonna have a lot of budget and lots of. Yeah.
It's a funny thing, reading on Resetera with the comments for it. There's some people that apparently didn't know the tag fighter and were kind of turned off from that, and then some people who knew it was tag fighter but seeing more information oh, it's Power Rangers, and then you see Maximilian dudes are actually, oh shit, it's Power Rangers. Oh yes.
You get the whole spectrum.
Yeah, I love seeing Max reaction stuff and being yes, Max, yes. I'm with you there, buddy.
It's gonna be weird, seeing Max get really into and talk about all of these League characters that he knows nothing about.
Yeah. Right. I mean, now you'll know how I felt with Dragon Ball with Dragon Ball FighterZ. You were talking about all that stuff.
Yep. But endless well of characters. This is one of my most anticipated games, and it's a fighting game. But I'm obviously just so bought in on League. I was going to be interested in it no matter what. But I do think, even bias aside, it looks good. It looks very good.
Yeah. I'm definitely now leaning towards it's not going to be the 2024 before we get to play this game. Maybe
might be a beta.
Maybe a beta at the very end of next year, at the absolute earliest.
I agree.
But again, I'm happy they're just kind of giving us updates, seeing what's out, and it does look good. So I'm sure it'll be worth the wait.
Nope.
Now I'm just very curious about how monetization, all that shit's going to work. Because
fair question.
The Game Pass Riot deal is in effect now, so I would love, especially if characters aren't free, which I think is definitely a possibility. If those all characters are on Game Pass, that would be great.
Mm-hmm. That would be sweet.
Mm-hmm. So we will continue to talk about that as we get updates. Probably will not be for at least another 6 months.
Probably not, but take your time. It'll be cool.
Oh yeah. NPDs.
But Jeff, hit me with them numbers. I love it when you talk numbers.
I got bad news. It might be harder. I might end up missing NPDs because I didn't see anything. I saw Benji Sales on Twitter talk about these. It's NPD's out. Let me go look at Matt Piscatello's thing. He deleted all his tweets from recent tweets for like to 2020. So I have no idea what's happening there. So I'm just going to have to every. I have no idea what happened there. I don't know if someone like ran him off Twitter or something. Yeah.
Weird.
Yep. So I might miss some. Might be laying on some NPD talks, but I will try to keep myself up to date or wherever I can find this shit. Obviously, we like talking about this stuff.
That's like, people need to wait to jump off Twitter until the ship's actually sank. Oh yeah, I understand Twitter sucks, but like,
okay. Apparently, he's posting stuff on LinkedIn.
Oh, that's not the one. That's not the social media to run to. We gotta have a better option than LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
At least according to the Venture Beat article. As long as people are posting articles about it, I guess I'll be fine.
At that point, just put it on Facebook, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's already bad, but you know. Yeah.
Alrighty, let's talk about the the 20 best-selling games of the month, Darby. What do you think number 1 was? For the month of November.
Call of Duty.
You right.
Yeah.
Not even the first month, but yeah.
Yeah.
What's number 2? Okay, I'll say this. The next league, 2 through 4,
Pokemon.
all new games. No.
Did it combine the 2 Pokemon or did it separate them?
They're combined.
Weird.
What do you think number 2 is?
Well, it did come out in November, didn't it?
Yes.
And it's not number 2? That's wild. Is it a sport?
None of these are sports. I think all the sports are out already.
What would it be if it's not Pokemon?
It's another game we might have played. At least a little bit of. A very well-liked game. Some would say GOTY nominated.
Oh wait, it's God of War.
Yeah. What do you think number 3 is?
Pokemon?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think I understand.
I still would have thought that Pokemon would be number 2.
Remember, no digital.
Okay, so Pokemon's the real number 2. Get that.
Or potentially real number 1.
Or potentially real number 1.
Yeah.
Probably not, but just could have called it. But it still could have been. Yeah.
No, I was with you. I saw that and like 20 seconds like, oh yeah, done. Digital is not included.
Fake list.
Because I know Pokemon is probably more popular like world over, so its numbers are probably more split. But also
fake list.
Like its total numbers in 3 days compared to God of War first week were double it.
Yeah,
so.
that's why. Yeah, it's the number 2. We all know.
No, number 4, Darby.
Well, you're looking at me all weird.
Another franchise that I love.
Jeff, that does not narrow it down very much. Mario plus Rabbids.
No.
Xenoblade.
New. Came out in November. One of the best characters to ever exist in anything. Most iconic.
Sonic Frontiers?
Yeah.
Whoa, dude. Whoa.
Honestly,
whoa. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's very good. Very good.
Yep.
The blue devil still sells.
I'm very curious about exact numbers. I don't know how often Sega does that kind of stuff. I'd be very curious, like what the numbers are and how it compares to some past ones. There's definitely been more hype around Frontiers, obviously better reception and all that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Excited to try it out.
It might sell a base amount regardless, but there has been good word of mouth. So
yeah.
Good for that.
Honestly, I'm probably just going to read out from this
point. We'll zoom through the
Yeah. There's one new one, but we'll get to it. Number 5, Madden. Number 6, FIFA. Number 7, NBA. Number 8, Gotham Knights.
The sports block.
Dropping down from 2 from last month. Number 9, jumping up from 39, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 11, jumping up from 47, Mario Party Superstars.
Was there a sale?
Actually,
Black Friday.
Yeah, Black Friday. Yeah. It probably went on sale for like $40.
Well, you know it's never going on sale again until the next Black Friday.
Number 11, Elden Ring. Number 12, jumping from 28, Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Nice. Probably awesome.
13, Mario Kart 8. Number 14, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. 15, Persona 5. Still pretty good. Staying in from last month. Number 17, a new one. The only other new one. Tactics Ogre Reborn.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yep. 18 Minecraft, 19 Horizon 2 Forbidden West, probably from Black Friday sales. Number 20, jumping up from 36, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The way it's right here, it looks like it reads as Legend of Zelda Breath of Nintendo the Wild.
Well, that is the name now.
Yes.
They actually legally changed the name.
And going into the top 20 of the year, because there's some shake up there, we'll just see how that shook out, at least for the top 10.
Elden Ring holding on?
No.
The Call of Duty's out. What am I talking
Call of
about?
Duty jumped it. Elden Ring was up there last month.
That's how it always happens. It's whatever the number one is gets destroyed by Call of Duty in 1 month. Yeah.
Yep, Elden Ring dropped from 1 to 2. Madden jumped from 4 to 3, which means Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga dropped 1 spot to 4 from 3. Reign of Terror ending.
Okay.
Number 5 jumping in there, God of War Ragnarok. Dropping to 6 from 5, Pokemon Legends Arceus.
I was about to say, so clearly Scarlet and Violet is supposed to be number 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Maybe even higher. Who the fuck?
Yeah, probably even higher, yeah.
Number 7, Pokemon Scarlet Violet.
Yeah, that's the fact that you see God of War, we know that's wrong.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, Scarlet and Violet's already 1 spot below Arceus already.
Yeah.
Number 8, Horizon Forbidden West. Number 9, FIFA. 10, MLB. The show 22. Let me check. See.
Nice.
Yep. I'll just throw these in there because I think they're, I guess, interesting that they're high up. Still, I just got to call out Kirby at 14 for the year. Let's go.
It feels very good. Let's go.
And Gotham Knights at 15.
Okay.
I just let point out that yeah.
No, it's interesting.
The reception of
we
the
were
game.
just clapping about Kirby. I was like,
yeah.
I didn't.
You love to see the Kirby. All right, let's end this on other news.
Other news, very fast. Other news coming to you really fast.
Final Fantasy 1 through 6 Pixel Remasters have been rated by the ESRB for Switch PS4. Fucking finally.
How good advanced are these? I forgot how they look. I mean, are people normally pretty happy with these? 'Cause I know Final Fantasy 6, the version that's on Steam looks like ass.
I think people like these. People have been begging for them, so I assume so. I think.
This is the whole package that came out already before, but it was like only on something.
It's only on like Steam. People are like, why isn't the fuck is it on Switch?
I didn't know it went all the way through 6. That's cool.
I don't think it's like one package, so I think they are separate.
I mean, I want to play 6, but the version that was on Steam before this was the mobile version.
The
models look like
these
shit.
are newer.
Good.
These are the ones you're gonna want, and I think they come with.
All these games have been ported so many times. Like, is this the good port, the bad port? What is this?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember like what other updated shit are on there. I think it does have like all the nice like updated shit as well. So these will be the best way to play them.
Nice.
They're also available in the App Store. Yeah, I'm gonna get these on Switch.
No, Switch is the best platform.
Yep. Final Fantasy Ever Crisis has been delayed until, or at least the closed beta has been delayed until summer 2023, and we got a new trailer.
We didn't know it was supposed to come out before then, so you good, homie.
Yep. Trailer looked interesting, showing more. We saw some of Crisis Core in there. It's funny because it's out tomorrow, as of this recording, on everything.
Still conceptually a cool idea to just have these games in like a more traditional type of remake thing or whatever. It's just yet to be determined how this is going to be, cause coming out in a very weird way with this whole like mobile thing and the whole like it's just one big project thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll probably be bad, but it has a chance.
Well, a couple things that stood out to me in the trailer is we actually saw the episode select, like the menu for that. So I'm curious exactly how that stuff breaks down and how that's going to work.
Yeah, well, they're going to slowly add these games right to it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like even the games like Final Fantasy 7 is releasing, but it's going to be episode by episode.
Right.
So we'll see how that works. We saw costumes that are, for I can tell, they're all unique new costumes, which is how I imagine they're going to make money doing that stuff. And we saw like Aerith and a Mega Reactor from early in the very beginning of Final Fantasy 7. So I was reminded that there was a mode they've announced that you can do that. You can go into any part of the game and use different characters, which is fun.
Yeah, dumb fun.
Yeah. One Piece Odyssey got previews out. Not that we're really going to discuss those, but in the previews, people, I don't know if they're supposed to announce this, or maybe I missed the announcement. There's a demo coming 3 days before the game comes out on January 10th. So definitely going to play that. Hopefully it's one of those demos that starts from the beginning that saved data carries over. Either way, I'm happy I'm going to at least be able to try it out before buying it. But I am now...
You're going to buy that game.
My hype's getting to max.
You're going to buy that game.
And that's partly because everything's looking good and the previews have been very good so far. Than what I've seen. Microsoft is going to raise the prices for its new first-party games to $70. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone.
No, it's already happening with Sony's.
And Sonic co-creator Yuji Naka has been arrested for insider trading.
Again, right?
Okay, yes. I was curious if you heard about that. I wonder if you're going to be like, Jeff, we talked about this last week. You're like,
again! This
time was for Final Fantasy.
Combo breaker.
Because I think this time it was for First Soldier.
It was?
And yeah, he got more into that company, which is funny because he's getting arrested and that game fucking bombed.
I know. It's like you're bad at insider trading.
And he was out on bail and got arrested again.
So every week we're just gonna have a new property that he started trading.
That would be funny, and I will continue in the podcast any single time that happens. I make that promise to you, dear listener.
Oh, Jeffrey, well, that was a fun podcast. It was a good one. It was a beefy one, but it was good. So,
yep. Look forward to next time when we talk about games releasing in 2023.
There's a lot of them.
Top anticipation list.
There's a lot
and
of
going
them.
through those games. Yeah.
Will Jeff have one that's on the top of his list for the next 3 years, like he had the one time with Kingdom Hearts or whatever?
Oh, and Psychonauts 2.
And Psychonauts 2, yeah.
Wait.
Do we have a contender? Do we have a contender for this?
Wait, sorry. I know this will prolong it, but I just need to see if I can find this real quick.
Well, he's going to find it. I don't know. I mean, at least... Lord, baby, sweet baby Jesus, I super hope that Tears of the Kingdom's not, because can't be one of those that
number one was Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, we got two.
Darby, odds are I'll look through the list. This would be our 6th year doing this.
And you found like 3 games?
Yes, it's literally been 2 years of one game, 2 years of one game. It's a high chance it's going to be that again. Okay, bye.
Bye. Where's the mouse?